Hey you guys, I'm so sorry I'm totally late here. It's Gina. Let me check the time. 6:04. So I came home, went upstairs, got my situation all situated. None of the lights in the room where I normally meet with you in my library would work. So I was in the dark and now I'm back in the light. So my daughter helped me, came down to my little spare room here and got situated and got rolling. How are you? Good to see you. So it's Ask Gina Live. Here we are, 6 p.m., 6:04 p.m. Technically. I was late. I'm so sorry. So I had technical difficulty with my lighting and I had to switch the rooms and I'm ready now. Ready to do the deal, ready to meet with you, hang in here, talk. Tell me where you're from if you're new. Tell me what might be of interest to you to talk about. And I am a therapist, although I'm not being a therapist right now. I'm just being of service. I'm going to share with you my experience, my strength, my hope, and my knowledge for fun and for free. So the topic tonight is don't judge me. And I thought about it as I was driving home. Don't judge me for being late tonight, okay? Hi, Greta. Thank you. Don't judge me, girl. Just don't. So I do the best that I can with what I've got, you know? But I think it's an important topic because when people judge you, it changes your perspective about yourself. And I think that's horrible because sometimes people are quick to judge, or sometimes people don't have a full understanding of you, don't know all the details of the story, maybe don't know where you've been or what you've gone through, and they set judgment on you sometimes the first time they lay eyes on you and look at you. Sometimes they set judgment after they get to know you. And sometimes people's judgment, the topic tonight is don't judge, so we're digging right into it because I want you to get something out of it, you know, is sometimes people have this issue where they become jealous of other people and their judgment is coming from a place of jealousy and resentment. So I want you to chime in if you're watching and let me know, have you ever felt unfairly judged by other people, criticized or ridiculed by other people who at the end of the day, they don't really know you, or they're people that you thought loved you and cared about you, and yet they show up with negativity, with bad information, with criticism, and making you feel bad about yourself. So the topic tonight is don't judge me. When people get judged over long periods of time, especially if it happens from a very young age, when you're very young, if your parents were very judgmental or very critical of you, you never got it right, you were always doing a wrong thing, you were always disappointing them in some way, that was painful. And then you started to interpret that, I guess there's something wrong with me. So I want you to chime in. I want you to text. Sorry, I'm catching a little cold. I want you to chime in and tell me, how have you experienced judgment? How has it impacted you? And are you aware of it? That you might still be carrying around with you someone else's idea of who you are. If someone judged you unfairly and said, you're not that smart, you're not that pretty, you're not going to get very far with that, you really don't know what you're doing, then you started to carry this template in your mind that said, oh my God, I'm all of these things. I don't think I'm like that. I don't think so much or so little of myself. But oftentimes people that are judging you create this feeling, and then you become the thing that other people said you are. So judgment is cruel, it's unkind, it's unfair. And now check yourself. Are you also a person that is walking around judging other people? Do you judge other people the first time you see them based on their looks, their color, their skin, their personality, the size of their body? What judgments do you pass on other people? Their wealth or lack of it? There's lots of ways that we can be prejudicial with people. And when we get into that mindset, what we're doing is pushing people away from us that might actually help lift us up. You never know when you meet a new person if that's a person that can elevate you. And what I mean by that is maybe that person has an opportunity for you later on down the road. Maybe they can become like your best friend or someone who shows up with a great job opportunity. or someone that you never knew you could count on, that suddenly you can count on them fully and go, my God, I never thought this person would be a person that would show up for me like this. And look, I misjudged them. Hi, Nellie. It's so good to see you. I'm catching a little cold, you guys, and I'm sorry if it's rude. I didn't bring in a tissue, and I keep wiping my nose, so bear with me, okay? Sorry. So, don't judge me about my runny nose. How about that? Because the topic tonight is don't judge me. And as I'm talking to you all, I'm saying there's different ways that we get judged, and there's different ways that we judge other people. And it's for us to start to decipher what's healthy and what's not healthy in relationship. If you're in relationship with people that are constantly judging you for who you are and where you're at, hi, Renese, then that is unhealthy. No one likes to be judged. We don't like to be put down. We don't like to be criticized. Sometimes there's value in giving good feedback to somebody, but that's not judgment. That's not name calling. That's not telling you you're less than what you are. And oftentimes judgment is coming, like I said earlier, from our own resentment and from our own jealousy. So I want you to check yourself about how you're being judgmental with other people, and maybe taking an inventory of who are the people in your life that are judging you very harshly, that are not allowing you to grow, that are not allowing you to be a different person that maybe you were in your past, that only see you one way. They don't see all sides of you. They just have painted this picture that this is who you are. You're that bad person in the family. You're that unavailable person. You're that person that nobody can rely on. Whatever labels they've stuck to you, you're that person who's always late. I had that one for a long time. And I'm going to say that that was a correct label for me. I was late. I was late all the time. But no one ever thought to ask me what was really going on. What was the reason behind the tardiness, the constant tardiness? And there was a lot. There was a lot in my history that created in me a sense of wanting to be rebellious. I felt very, very powerless. So by showing up late to things, it was like, I'll show you, kind of, it was a sense of empowerment. Like, if I don't have to show up to something and I show up when I want, I felt like I was in control. Even though it was rude or maybe disrespectful to show up late to an occasion. So this is a way that I got a value judgment. I was judged. The topic for tonight is don't judge me, okay? Hi, Kat. Good to see you. So I had this negative behavior of always being tardy, and people would get upset with me or mad, but nobody ever asked me, what in the heck is wrong with you, girl? Why are you showing up an hour to 2 hours late to things, all right? Hi, Mitchell. Good to see you. And Nellie, Mary Wilson, where have you been? It's so good to see you. So the topic tonight is don't judge me. I'm working a little bit more on just jumping into the topic. So people that are viewers that go on and off, I want you to get something out of the couple of seconds that you're on here. And the rest of you that have been with me for a while, you know what I'm about. And so you hang in here for the whole time, and I love you for that. So Nellie is saying, I hate it when I get upset. Everyone says that I'm gonna run and get drunk now. Thank you, Mary. I love you too. And I miss you a lot. Just remember that. So everybody, you hear that with Nellie? Yeah. People are judging you about what you used to do in your bad behavior. My bad behavior was always being late. And there was a long time where it was like, oh, are you going to show up? Or are you sure you're going to be there? And people would roll their eyes. Well, I'm sure people roll their eyes at you, Nellie, and go, oh, are you going to be sober? Or, yeah, don't bother because you're just going to go off and get drunk and make a fool out of yourself. Yeah, that's all judgment. That's all criticism. That's all negativity. If you're sober right now, why does somebody need to crucify you about something that you did in your past? If you're sober right now and you're showing up, say, hey, I really appreciate that you've been showing up. I really appreciate that you've been doing such a good job and you're on that path to recovery. And we think that's amazing, Nellie. So, and the best thing to tell somebody instead of saying, oh, are you going to run and go get drunk, is to say, you know, I'm really scared that you'll go back out. That's really a fear that I have. So sometimes, hi, everybody. I'm sorry. I really want to get in the topic, Greta. And Nancy, I don't know if I said hi to you yet. And Liz, good to see you. Good to see you. And Fareed saying hi to everybody. So say hi to Fareed. And Terry, of course, hello. So what I'm saying is, we're talking about don't judge me. Nellie gave a great example of being judged based on her past behavior and her addiction and her alcoholism. Then the family will say things like, oh, you're getting upset? Oh yeah, you're just going to run anyways. That's a criticism and a judgment. And it's like, hey, I'm sober today. I ain't running anywhere. I'm right here and I'm facing this situation straight on, right? And I was telling about my character defect of being tardy. Well, nobody ever said, Gina, why in the hell are you so late? It's so unbelievably rude, and you're not that person. Like, I see that you're a kind and good person, but in this one area, man, you're out of line. That would have changed my world if somebody would have shared that with me like that. I would have been aware sooner that I was being rebellious and I was trying to control something. I had no control. I had lost control of all the other aspects of my life. And being tardy was like, well, I can control this, so I'm going to make this happen. Tell me what you think, how you resonate with that. Does that make sense to you? Does it make you think about what are some of the flaws in you that people have judged that you're actually working on and trying to get well about? Kat's saying, I'm still being judged 14 months later on whether or not I'm sober. At times it's difficult, but I do know that 14 months doesn't compare to 25 years of using. Absolutely. And that is very profound of you and very self-aware of you to acknowledge. I'm so fidgety tonight. I'm sorry, you all. I'm in a new room. If you didn't notice, I'm sorry. It's making me all fidgety. I'm used to being in my library. But let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you like this room. It seems pleasant enough. I don't mind changing it up. So I would agree, Kat, that people like to stick us in a box. And so judgment is about them having power and control over you. See, we judge people because we're insecure. We're passing judgment. A lot of times, I said it and I'm going to repeat it, out of jealousy or resentment. So some people are used to dealing with you in your past behavior. If you were an alcoholic, thanks if you like the room. I might try this out. This is kind of cool. Kind of like it. If people are judging you in your past behavior and the way you used to be, they want to keep you stuck there because they felt that they had some power over you or that they were better than you in some way. And that's reality, okay? We don't like to look at how manipulative and unfair and unkind that people can often be with their word and with their action, but that's just a reality we all live with. And those of you that are seeking help, if you haven't, or gone to counseling, or asked for support, or gone through spiritual awakening groups, or mentoring groups or whatever to try to improve yourself and self-improvement, then you understand that I'm not that person anymore. Those flaws and those character defects that I brought with me prior to me doing all this self-exploration, I'm not that person anymore. And I don't want to be judged, and I don't want to be criticized, and I don't want to be kept in a box and told that's all I am and that's all I'm capable of. Now, remember, if you write anything on here, I'm going to read it right up, so be comfortable with it. I got 124 days, but it's a miracle. That's beautiful. That's over 4 months. I usually only make it 3 months. Girl, you made it. You made it over that. Don't ever say I usually anymore. This is your new normal, so you made it. I am over 4 months sober, and that is incredible. And take pride in that and say to yourself, look, if I prove to myself I can get past what I usually do and what people judge me for, then there's a lot more that I'm capable of that I can do. Kat, I agree with what you just said. I know that's their problem and not mine. I know who I am, and I'm happy. I'm so glad, Kat, to hear that. We like you. You can sit anywhere. Oh, thanks, Greta. And hey, Nellie. Okay, sending lots of love to each other and support. So the topic for tonight has been and is, don't judge me. The conversation is around taking your own inventory now if you're also that judgmental person. If you judge people on your first, the first appearance, if you judge them on the way they speak, the way they carry themselves, the way they look, the way they're dressed, where they live, who they hang out with. And I just want you to think about sometimes people that are so diametrically opposed to us, I couldn't even get that word out, that are so different from us, kind of look like the opposite of us, sometimes have some great lessons to give us and some gifts to bring us that we need to learn about ourselves. So when we reject someone that we feel is so very, very different, is because that differentness is lying dormant in us. They might be expressing a very creative, and beautiful and animated part of themselves or passionate part of themselves that we might be afraid of. So I want you to start looking at judgment as I'm judging you to keep you away from me because what you're doing scares me. But in essence, and my doggies are going to start barking like crazy. And this is why I always go upstairs and sit in that library room so that you guys don't hear my dogs going insane when Fareed comes home. So anyways, so when we're looking at people that are so different and we're rejecting them, we're afraid, but we may be rejecting that part of ourselves, that creative, different, elaborate, or very animated, or very extroverted part of ourselves that we're smushing and squashing down. So when you start passing judgment on people, I want you to take an inventory and what is it about them and them that maybe I'm looking at that I don't like, that I'm afraid of exists within myself, or what is it about them that I'm so afraid of? Just asking that simple question instead of just judging somebody based on what they look like or who they are or where they live or who they're married to or what they have. Okay, so Renice, I don't listen to them. I shake it off, girl. Being offended is what they want. Absolutely. Nellie, happy. So Kat, oh my God, this light is blinding me, y'all. I agree with what you just said. Oh, I already read that. Okay, so don't judge me. I'm really hyper tonight. I need to calm down. Don't judge me for my hyperactivity. So, what we've talked about tonight, what I want you to take away from you is my judgment is a character defect in me. Me judging other people is a lack of security within myself, a lack of esteem within myself. I need to take an inventory of myself if I'm being judgmental, not just taking the inventory of that other person. Also, if you're being judged on the receiving end of that, then the question to you is, do I believe what these people are saying about me to be true? Or do I believe that what they're saying is false? Like, is it in line with how I see myself, how I view myself, what I think about myself? Or is it ludicrous? And if we come to the conclusion that it is absolutely absurd, then we need to confront the situation, talk about it, or separate from people that bring you down, criticize you, make you feel bad about yourself, make you question who you are as a human being. Don't turn the page on your life story to let you change and grow and improve yourself and keep trying to hold you back to some negative, terrible period of time in your life or awful experience that you had with them. Does that make sense? Does that seem fair to you? So I notice, and I'm taking in the inventory myself, that y'all are very loving and you're very supportive, and I really, really appreciate it on my page. And I also know that the viewers and the following haven't changed very much. I have a consistent, beautiful fan base, and it's not changing or growing. And one of the things I've made up about it is that probably because I'm going on too long, and most people don't have a very long attention span. So you're going to notice last week and this week that I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter. And I'm doing that because I want to reach as many people as I can with this service of giving away what I have in terms of my knowledge as a licensed professional therapist and 32 years experience. And so it's a way to get free guidance and counseling from a counselor without entering into the very rigorous and intense relationship of therapy. So there you go. So that's my intention. I was thinking the other day on the bus, I was judging people. Judging me, is that the same? Yeah, you're kind of caught in a loop where you imagine that people are looking at you in a certain way, and you're so used to being judged, you just project. You just assume that those other people are looking at you in the negative ways that you've been taught to look at yourself. So you got to stop that self-talk. Kat, I've been strong enough to walk away from toxic people. Yes, you have, girl. I can't listen to you for... Oh, you can listen to me for hours. You're a sweetheart. I love you. Hi, Sublimal. When did Sublimal jump on here and I didn't even see him? I still don't see him, so hey, if he's there, I say hi. All right, so I want to respond to this, and then I'm probably going to wrap up, is Nellie. Passing judgment on yourself, imagining other people are judging you. what we call, that's a projection. There he is. Hi, Subliminal. What we call you're projecting your feelings onto those people on the bus, thinking they're looking at you in the ways that somebody used to look at you, or people in your life make you feel about yourself. If they make you feel badly about yourself, and that's the story that you're carrying around, then you imagine everybody on the bus, at the checkout, at the grocery store, at the gas station, are all looking at you like, you loser, you look at you, you're never going to get it right. You can't even stay sober. No, nobody else is looking at you in that way unless you give them reason to look at you in that way. No one in the world is sitting there like that having these intense negative thoughts about you. Most people are so selfish and so self-centered that they're not even aware of you or your presence. So when you're sitting on the bus, look around and see if anybody's even looking at you unless you turn around and give them direct eye contact. The whole topic for tonight has been Don't Judge Me. I'm now speaking to one of the viewers here, Nellie Nell, who's been with me the whole time probably. I've been doing this for the last almost 2 years now, I think. I'm losing track. It's been fun, so I'm losing track of time. So we're talking about her feeling judged in a particular situation when being on the bus, which I get that totally. Sometimes we're standing in line, sometimes we're at the doctor's office and we feel other people are judging and looking at us because we know the story. We're carrying the story inside of our shame and of our fear, and we think other people can see that, and they cannot. Unless we want to reveal it to them, they can't. So wherever you are, and when you're sitting and thinking, these people are looking at me a certain way, say, they are too caught up in their own thoughts to be thinking about me in any way. And I need to get over that right now because I don't need to sit in judgment of myself in this moment. What I need to do is love and honor myself. So practice this, saying to yourself, I deserve love, I deserve respect. I don't need to sit in judgment of myself. Whatever I've done in my past is in my past, and I can't continue to beat myself up in my present. That would be an incredible thing if you could write it down, Nellie, and anybody else who cares to, and repeat that back to yourself, because affirming yourself like that will change the story and the history of that critical, judgmental voice that we all carry around with us. Hi, Renee, and hi, Kenneth. I see you both, and I'm just starting to wrap up. I think when someone judge me, it's because they see something that they're afraid of, fear of change themselves. Yes, thank you, Kenneth. I did share that earlier, that it's about fear. So judgment is 90% about fear. I fear you, I fear what you have, I fear what you're about, or I fear that you're changing. In the case of those of you that are in some kind of recovery, or maybe you've gone through a divorce and left an abusive spouse, or left a bad situation, and you're in the process of change, those people who love you and are near you are judging you in that way because they're afraid. And you're right, they're afraid of you, and so what they fear, they then judge. So just know that, and just tell yourself, the next time you feel judged or look like people are judging you, then go, they all afraid of me, because I'm some kind of fabulous that they're afraid. They're looking at me and they're afraid, because I'm changing, I'm growing, I'm being different, I'm fabulous. So I'm always late. I'm so sorry, Renee. I was late today too. I got on here at 6:04, character defect of mine. I made my amends in the beginning and said, I am so sorry. Hi, Kelly. You're jumping on here late too. What's up, guys? Oh, my God. I get on at 6. Great perspective. Thank you, Renese. I get on at 6, but today I started at 6:04 and I still didn't see you all, so I hung out for a minute. So the topic tonight has been about Don't Judge Me. If you're jumping, you're so welcome for your love and support, Nellie. You got it, girl. Hey, Sublimal, I now am going to jump off this page, and in a couple of minutes, I'm going to jump on my friend's page called Wings of Encouragement. Wings, like butterfly wings, of encouragement. And so look it up. If you can't find it, because somebody told me there's a couple of them, it has a logo of like, it's palm trees and a gold sunshine, and then in the backdrop of the page it looks kind of like professional industrial people at work with desks and whatever, but the page itself is all about encouragement and love, and it's called Wings of Encouragement. I have a snapshot, a screenshot of it on my Facebook page. I can't pull it up right now, but on the break right now, I will put it up again. I've done that periodically. So, Kat, I love you. I think about you. I can't wait till you come visit us. We're having a huge breakfast at New Directions for Women where I work. And Kat, I hope you got an invitation to that. It would be amazing if you could come back for that. It is an incredible, incredible day. It's one of our biggest, most beautiful events that we put on. So if you're able to, we would love it. It's this month, March 25th. So thank you all. Narendra, good morning, good night, God bless you. It's night for me. Jump on that other page. Hey, George, where have you been? What's up? What's happening, George? Kat, I should be there sometime in July. Okay, be there tomorrow in July, sometime in July. All right, I love you. Go back. I'm going to post this. The topic for tonight was don't judge me. You look so different. How do I look different? I'm sitting in a different room. My hair is normally not like all this. This is my winter. It's raining outside and my hair is getting wet hairdo that I got on, and I got my fur on. Where is the YouTube? Where is your YouTube? This ain't my same George, is it? No, it's not. It's a different George. I'm late. Sorry, George. Yes. My YouTube is Ask Gina or Gina Tabrizi, my name, or the business that I own, which is Harmony Heals. You can find me on any of those places. And no, I didn't flip my YouTube live tonight because I have an electrical outlet problem. The room where I normally go live from died. Like all the electrical is out. So I had to run downstairs and do this really quickly with my daughter. So if I look different, it's the angle, it's the room, it's the hair. So I didn't have time to get all fluffed. All right? All right, where are you? That's where I'm at, George. I hope I answered your question. And if this isn't the George that knows me, that's always on here, that's been on here for a year, I'm in California. California. California love, California dreaming. That's where I'm at. All right. God bless you all. Thank you for staying on here with me. If you scroll back on my page, soy el George de siempre. Okay, George, parece la foto diferente. Tienes un mulatico negro o algo y no, la cara no era conocida. So it's the same George. I just changed rooms, George, and my hair. And it's darker in this room, and my hair looks darker in this room. But it's still Gina. It's still me. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm sorry to go on so long. I love your support and being here with me. Keep sending me your topics. And jump on the page Wings of Encouragement, because I'm going to go on there in just a couple of minutes. And I'm going to tackle this subject and probably a little differently since it's spontaneous. I don't script anything that I say. The talk will probably have some similarities, but it'll also be real different. All right? Love you all. Mary, I miss you a lot, girl. And I don't know why you don't respond to my texts anymore, but I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you. All right. Have a good night, everybody. So, hi. Good evening. It's Ask Gina. I'm Gina Tabrizi, licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm coming live to you from my page. This is Ask Gina Live. I appreciate that this is also going live on YouTube, even though I'm not engaging with those people who are following or looking or maybe scrolling up and finding these videos. But I know somehow if I keep at it, it'll be of service to someone who needs to see it and wants to see it. Hey, how's it going, Nancy? And hopefully it will be of some service to you or inspiration or help guide you in some form or fashion in your life, maybe in a place that you're struggling, maybe in an area that you need help with. And so I've been doing this for a while now. It feels like about a year and a half, maybe longer, year and a half. And I started the page to be a public service. So as a therapist, I'm often giving away my experience, my strength, and my hope. And this was a way to do it to people who maybe can't get into therapy, maybe people who are afraid to go to therapy, feel threatened by it, don't understand what the purpose of it might be. And so here you go. Here's an experience of meeting a therapist and seeing what it might be like to go ask someone for guidance and help who has your best interest, who's trying to support and motivate you in whatever ways that they can. Hi, Shay Shay and Kelly and Nellie. Kelly, Nellie, I like that. Shay, Kelly, Nellie. I like that. It's like a little song we can sing together. So definitely not my strong suit. I have many skills. Singing is not one of them. So I am really happy to be here with you guys tonight and feeling good post-surgery. I think if you follow my page, if you read the little messages I leave on there, I'm always sharing personal stories, not to frighten, not to freak people out or make them think that I'm a total nut job or stress case or whatever. It's just so that you see another human being who goes through stuff, real life stuff and struggles and tells you what it's like and comes out on the other side of it. So having a positive attitude towards anything, utilizing positive affirmations on a daily basis. Hi, Fareed Tabrizi. I fed the dogs, if you're wondering. And so being a person who gives of themselves and of service and focus like that, that is one way to lift your mood, to help you to have a purpose, to move forward in your life, and to allow you to overcome any circumstances or obstacles that might come your way. So my little minor surgery was that. You know, for most people, you're terrified if you've never gone through surgery. I've now had quite a few over the last couple of years. And so it was just that, but it was something that needed to be done. And I'm very proactive about my health and do the very best I can to prevent things from getting worse. So there's lots of things that you can control in your diet and your nutrition and with exercise to not create bigger medical issues for yourself, especially as you're aging. So I really want to encourage you to be proactive about not only your mental health, but your physical health as well, because you're needed to be here and you're serving a purpose and there's people who need you and want you in their life. So that's my pitch. Thank you, Fareed, for posting that. Hi, Nancy. If I didn't say hi to everybody, I'm saying hi now. Oops, sorry. And Fareed saying hi to you as well. So tonight I was going to talk about You Are Enough. So I started the live by, hi, Kat, by mentioning the idea of using affirmation as a strength to get through struggles and troubles in your life and strife. Hi, Terry. And what I want to tell you tonight about You Are Enough. So there's a script in your head. Most of us, for some reason, it would probably be a 2-hour lecture if I got into the reasons, but we come out of our childhood with this idea of not being enough. Sometimes it's that we had parents that were perfectionistic. Sometimes we had absent parents that never showed us if we were doing right or wrong and didn't seem to care about us in the least. Sometimes it comes from parents who have unrealistic expectations and set those expectations so high you feel you can never meet them. Hey, May Ann, how are you? And so with that, you got this idea that you are not enough, that you don't measure up, that what you do doesn't have merit or value. And I want to tell you that that's a really hard script to walk through life with. And when you don't feel you're enough, you choose relationships that make you feel less than. You choose men and women, friends, girlfriends, lovers, whatever your circumstances, partners that will instinctually tell you or have you feeling that you don't measure up. And so critical parents, Nancy is saying, absolutely with critical parents. If you had overly critical parents, then you never met their expectations and you feel devalued. And when you feel devalued, you feel like you're not enough. And that is a horrible feeling to walk through life with. It causes issues of esteem, lack of self-worth, but worse than that, it causes us to go into relationships that repeat this vicious cycle of believing that we're not enough, okay? So that's a trauma bond. It's bonding to something that's traumatic for you and staying connected to it in a way that you keep repeating it in your life through other relationships. So how can you break that bond, I guess, is the most important thing I can talk to you about tonight or bring to you is this. First of all, if you can understand and you can begin to identify those messages that you give yourself, that you hear on a daily basis, your self-talk is the most important tool that you have. And it is the thing that gets us in the most trouble. So throughout your day, while you're walking around and you're trying to solve problems and you're engaging with people and you're trying to communicate and meet others' expectations, you hear this voice in your head, oh my God, that was so stupid. Why did I say that? I wish I wouldn't have said that. I stuck my foot in my mouth, or I don't know what I'm doing, or oh my gosh, now everybody knows that I don't know what I'm doing, or why did I ask for that when I can't even handle it? I don't know if that's your script, but that's a very, very common script. Those are different things that I've heard from clients, things that I've heard myself, and things that I've heard from loved ones. So I want you to tune into the script that you have in your head, the self-talk that you use while you walk through your day to try to just get through life and do life and meet life on life's terms. And if you're hearing a very negative and critical voice in your head, in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, many clients have shared with me, they call it stinking thinking or the critic. And it is a process to start to understand and identify this critic in your head, because you can't change something until you become aware of it. You can feel badly about it. It can hurt you. You can be upset about it. You can be angry about it all day. But until you identify and have awareness that you have a behavior that is causing you to struggle and is causing you to hurt, you're not going to break the pattern. So trust me that knowledge is power. It's the first thing you need to know. Kat is saying, it took me till I was 40 years old to know my self-worth and self-love. Gina, you were a huge part. Sorry, I keep putting my arm in front of the YouTubers watching this. They have this big fist coming at them right now. Part of this and doing my daily affirmations that Athena has me do, it works. I've never been this confident in my own body before. I know what I'm worth and what I'm willing to sacrifice to be happy. That is a beautiful thing. So give a shout out to Kat, because one is to receive the information that people are willing to give you to help you to change and grow. And two is applying the information. So I want to say to you, if you don't hear anything else tonight, the first thing you heard me say is become aware of the critic in your head and take an inventory of how you're speaking to yourself. And if you're speaking to yourself in any way that's less than kind, less than loving, less than generous, you are creating a behavioral problem that will cause you to feel devalued and then cause you to choose relationships to prove by others proving and stating to you that you don't hold value. So, wow, chew on that, because that was a lot of information. And then the second thing is you've got to put into action this new thought process, this new behavior, if you want it to change. If you sit there and just go, oh my God, I hate myself, I hate the way that I think, I hate the relationships I have with people, but I'm not willing to do anything different. I'm not willing to go see a counselor. I'm not willing to do these affirmations Gina's mentioning. I'm not willing to read about a process of self-discovery. I'm not willing to do anything about it. Then you get what you get. It's never going to change. You're going to stay in the same rut, in the same crappy relationships, in the same difficult job, in the same awful marriage or bad circumstance, or tense and intense relationship with your children, right? If you have those two. So hear me. First, acknowledge and identify the critic in your head. Second, take action to change that voice. How do you change that voice? It takes work. It's like working a muscle. You can't just one day say to yourself, oh my gosh, I love myself, I'm the best person on the planet, and your life is going to change. Those words, when you're used to being put down, you're used to being criticized, you've been belittled throughout your life, or you've just been simply ignored and undervalued, those words to say, I'm precious, I'm valuable, I matter, I am important, I'm intelligent, those words are so hard to say to ourselves. So it does take practice. You can't just wake up and all of a sudden start doing these affirmations. You literally literally have to practice those in a mirror. And there is mirror work that Ms. Shea, who's on here, kind of introduced me to. I knew the whole world of Louise Hay, so look up Louise Hay with lots of books on affirmation and healing oneself, healing the body through the mind and through positive affirmation. And she has this mirror work that you do where you use an application on the phone that acts as a mirror, and then you repeat back these loving and affirming statements to yourself. Now, this is awkward. It's uncomfortable. It's something that you're not familiar or used to, but your head accepts whatever you tell it. So if you keep telling yourself, your brain, your head, your soul, your spirit, that you're a piece of crap, you're never going to amount to, you keep screwing up, you're never going to get this right, you're never going to have money, you're never going to have love, you're never going to have never, 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 your brain starts to accept and create that reality for you, okay? It's the concept of manifesting. If you ever watched The Secret, that was a big, I'm going to say in the 90s, in the beginning of the 90s, this movement of how what you believe about yourself and the universe and the world around you, you actually manifest. I've recently been watching a Netflix series with Morgan Freeman. I think I also mentioned it last week, and I want to say it's something about God. If somebody's watching it and has been watching it, please post it again. You posted it out last. Exploring God, asking about God, questions about God. I don't remember that, but I do remember this week that it's Morgan Freeman. And in that Conversations with God, they discovered that by him meditating, and he's just one example, a neurologist was able to take a picture of his brain and show that when he meditated on the concept of God, right, and focused intently on it, his prefrontal lobe expanded. And what that means is this is your higher functioning, your higher reasoning, your ability to process, to problem solve, to act appropriately in society, to have like societal norms and behaviors and acceptance is all right here. And so you're expanding that part of your brain by just focusing on this concept of God. Well, what I'm going to say to you is that it's because it's meditative. If you're focusing on anything in a meditative practice, taking your mind to a quiet and calm place and focusing on something that fills you with joy, of course your brain is going to light up and it's going to expand. So there's research to validate that feeding your brain these positive affirmations, that you're growing and expanding the use and the ability to use your brain to heal. Is that amazing? I think it is, and I think you should think it is, because I want you to understand how much power you do have to heal yourself and to get better, that you're not powerless, that you don't have to be a servant to other people's circumstances and ideas of who and what you are, that you can manifest and become the person that you want to be, that you believe that you've always wanted to be and you've struggled to manifest or to create in your life. Nellie, I'm going to read what you're saying. To me, thank you for the thumbs up. I think that deserves a thumbs up too. To me, I'm learning that it's okay to say no. I'm usually trying to fix everyone and be there for everybody, I bet that says, because I wasn't there before. I feel I have to make it up to them. When I don't help, I feel guilty, but lately I'm okay with saying no. I love that. Hi, Silvama. It's good to see you. I'm great. I'm loving this live. This is a great subject. You are enough is the subject. And now we're talking about utilizing, paying attention to the critical voice in your head that tells you that you're not enough, then learning to speak positive affirmation to that and say, that's the behavior that I did, but that's not who I am. So for example, Nellie, you shouldn't keep paying for the discretions of your past. If you had a drug or alcohol use problem, or you weren't available, or you were an absent parent, or whatever that was, that's your history. And you shouldn't sentence yourself to your history. We are all supposed to learn from history so that we don't repeat it, and so that we grow and we progress in life and become better humans, become a better mankind in general. So for you, it's to say to yourself, I know what I did before was wrong. I accept and take full responsibility for that. I am no longer willing to do this bad behavior in the present. I'm no longer willing to ignore my family, ignore my children, ignore my job or my circumstances, my partners, my lovers, whatever it may be. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to be responsible. Now I'm going a million miles an hour. because I want you to get this. This is good stuff. Write it down. I've never told you that before, but when you guys watch the live, I know I go about 100 miles an hour and just throw stuff at you. Write it down, because this is stuff that you could use on a daily basis. It's the gift of therapy that I'm giving to you, and you get to bypass the whole uncomfortable process of going into a therapist's office, seeing if y'all click and if that's going to work for you, and if you can feel that you're being respected and heard and honored in a way that you're willing to be vulnerable and reveal yourself to. So this is a kind of a cool way to kind of feel a little bit what that process might be like, but on an easier level, I think. Okay, so what have we got so far talking about you're enough? Is just because someone told you in your history, your family, whoever made you feel this way, doesn't mean that you need to continue to repeat to yourself over and over again these horrible negative messages that someone else decided to pin on you. So it's up to you to do the work to separate yourself from your history and to say, I am worthy, I'm deserving, I want love in my life. I want to move forward. I want to be a contributing member of society. I want to live with purpose. I want to be a role model to my children. These things are important to me. These things matter. I deserve these things. I deserve, because I was born, because I breathe, because I am a precious and divine creation of the universe, that I can move past all of this history and all of this negativity that I've always told myself, and that everyone has told me that I've believed, and I can break that pattern of being bogged down and being imprisoned to my past, and I can start to live in my present and move forward in my present. Sublimal, I stopped carrying other people's baggage and coffin inside my head. Yes, I like that so much. I'm what I am, and I'm happy about it. You go, Sublimal. Say that. I am what I am, and I am happy about it. So I am what I am reminds me of Popeye. I am what I am, and I can't be no other, or something like that. I forget. It was, do you guys know Popeye? My God, I'm really dating myself. Very old cartoon that I grew up with. And so, hi Brenda, how are you? I'm so deep into the conversation. I hope that you'll be able to scroll back, because I gave a lot of tips and pointers on you are enough and how to know that and how to own that for yourself. Okay, here's another thing. As we go through our day, if we're not having success, if we make mistakes and we fall down, if we are late to something, or we don't meet a deadline, or we suddenly miss a piece of information that we were supposed to pass on to coworkers, here's an opportunity for that ugly negative voice to come back in and say, you screwed up. You should have had that. Why didn't you have that on lock? Why didn't you, plan better for that? What is wrong with you? As soon as you hear that negative, oh, you're working, Brenda. Well, then I'm glad while you're working or in between work that you snuck on here with us, or that you're taking a break from work to sneak on here with us. Hi, Mitchell. It's good to see you. I miss you. I feel like I haven't seen you for a minute. So I'm talking about being enough. I'm talking about taking an inventory of the critical voice in our head. So if at some point during the day you hear that voice start to creep in about, oh, you really screwed that one up. You should have been better prepared. What's wrong with you? You should have stayed up late last night. I told you not to get any rest. And you hear that negative talk in your head, it is very important for you to say, stop. I'm human. I will make mistakes. And in program, they teach us as well. It is progress, not perfection. I am not trying to become a perfect human that never fails, never is flawed, never forgets, never falls down. I'm trying to just show up to my commitments and honor myself and honor my relationships and do the very best that I can with what I have. And so give yourself that grace. Give yourself that opportunity to say, I am imperfect, and well, I didn't do that at 100%, but you know what? I am willing to fix it. I'm willing to repair. I'm willing to make an amends. I'm willing to stay later. I'm willing to do the best I can to repair. And if I can't repair, I'm willing to learn from the experience. And next time I'll do it different, because I will remember what this was like, and I will remember what this felt like, and I will then take that inventory and say, you know what, I learned from that experience. I never want to do that again. That did not feel good to me. Be that relationship, be that in a job, making a mistake, whatever that mistake is to say to yourself, hey, I need to learn from that so that I can grow, so that I can improve myself and feel better about myself. Hi, Elisa. Brenda, I think being perfect would be boring. It would be, girl, but it's such a trap that so many of us seek perfection. Like, because we feel we're not enough, which the theme of the topic tonight is you are enough, because most of us come from that place or got that message in some way, perfectionism is a way to try to fix that. We try to do things perfectly to prove our value and our worth. So if you can hear this and take anything from what I'm saying tonight and say, I'm driving myself in a direction that is going to drive me insane. I will never be able to be perfect, and to put that expectation on myself will ruin me, because I will spend countless hours and time in relationships trying to be perfect and show myself to be something that I'm not. And I will be sorely disappointed, and so will the people around me, because I will fall from that, altitude. I will fall from that height of perfectionism, and I will be hurt by that, So there you go. What can I say? So in the world of perfectionism, there is no human, there is no one on this planet that is perfect, and it is an absolute trap. Thank you, Mitchell. That is the perfect word. It's a trap and can cause depression 100%. And it could cause you to lose yourself and your spirit. And also there's a part of it that is being phony. You're not being genuine with other people when you're trying to be perfect. If someone upsets you, makes you angry, ticks you off, disappoints you, and you don't want to stir the pot and you want to be the bigger person, oh, that's okay, I understand, da-da-da-da, because you're trying to be the perfect friend, mother, lover, partner, then you're not being real and you're not being human, and that other person is not going to learn. They get to learn from you also by you saying, that was rude, that was uncalled for, that wasn't okay, I was disappointed by that, I did expect that you were going to show up for me, I was disappointed when you didn't. Instead of being the nice, perfect, oh, let me not rock the boat and let me just, co-sign this BS that you just pulled on me. You got to get real with people, okay? And when you have a solid sense of self and tell yourself, I'm enough and I matter, then you're not going to be worried about rocking the boat with other people. You're not going to be worried about disappointing other people or having them be mad at you. Because one of the things that often drives us is that fear of rejection. I am afraid that I'm going to be rejected. And that is part of not feeling like I'm enough. So therefore, I'm going to try to be absolutely perfect in all of my conversations. I'm going to try not to make a mistake so no one ever has to come and correct me or scold me or take punitive action towards me, because it's going to remind me of that bad feeling of not being enough. Do you see how all these things kind of circulate? They layer on top of each other and they're all interwoven and interconnected. And all of that coming from just a thought process of, I'm not enough. So again, take your inventory here. Hi, David, Laura. How are you? It's been a while. Thank you. Sublimal is saying, I don't do smart things. I do the right things, because at the end of the day, I want the peaceful sleep. I like that. I like that, Sublimal. I think that's amazing. And Brenda's just saying, yes, it's so true. And it makes sense. Thank you, Brenda, because sometimes I feel cuckoo talking to myself and saying these things over and over again. And I'm like, are they getting it? Do they hear me? Does this make sense? Am I going too fast? Do I need to stop? Yes. Hey, Liz. Thank you. Thank you for saying it makes sense. So I want you to practice taking an inventory throughout your day. I want you to hear when you're being critical, negative, judgmental, and rude and disrespectful to yourself. When you're name calling, when you're putting yourself down, when you're not giving yourself credit, when you're being too hard on yourself. And you all know when you're doing that because it feels bad. It hurts us. It makes us angry. It causes us to feel frustrated and to get flustered. Take that inventory, hear it, see it, acknowledge it, and then stop it. Say to yourself, I am not willing to keep talking to myself like this. It's so unproductive. It's so harmful. I need to stop right now. I need to be the best parent to myself, the parent that I always wanted and needed, and honor myself and lift myself up and affirm myself and tell myself that I can do this and tell myself I can handle this and tell myself I can get through any struggle, any storm, any chaos, any crisis. So I want you to practice that 10 times a day if you can. All right? And check it off. Do a little checklist and say 10 times today, I told myself I'm capable, I'm powerful, I'm wonderful, I'm focused, I deserve, I will get this, I will improve, I will move forward in my life. Thank you for my sound advice. You're so welcome, Renee. I'm glad that it's sound advice, not insane advice. Sup, Fareed? Elisa's saying what's up. So please take that inventory and practice saying to yourself those daily affirmations. It may sound cuckoo at first. You may feel silly or ridiculous. And I always say this, what are you willing to do to heal? You went through all this damage. You got hurt in relationships, in jobs, in your addiction, by your families. What are you willing to do to heal it? You went through all the pain and suffering. Then give yourself the time and the grace and the permission and the patience to go through the healing. And if you put the work in, it's going to change. When I see people, and I've talked to you a lot about depression, and I'm going to wrap up soon, but I've talked a lot about depression and my own recovery for it. And when I see people stuck in depression, they're always like, I can't do it. It's never going to work. It's not going to work for me. It works for other people. That's where you get stuck. And even in a depressed mind, you can say to yourself, I'm not going to feed in to that negative depressive thought that is ruminating in my head right now, that is glaring and yelling at me in my brain. I am going to stop right now and say, enough is enough. I deserve to heal. I deserve to be happy. I deserve joy in my life. I deserve relationship. I deserve love. I believe in it. I deserve it. I want it. I'm asking for it. I'm putting out in the universe to God, to my higher power, my higher consciousness, that this is something that I deserve, that I own, that is important to me, and I'm going to keep saying it until I believe it. And those of you that have heard this expression, fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. Keep saying that to yourself till it actually becomes a truth that you go, I do deserve these things. I am willing to put in the work. I am willing to accept myself. I am willing to know that I am enough and that I deserve. So there you go. So Sublimon, Gina, your joy within you shows on your happy face, especially your laughter. I try. Sometimes I just crack myself up and I'm like, I don't know if they think it's funny, but I'm cracking myself up here right now. And sometimes it's just my crazy expressions and my hand movements that get me going. Thank you for that. Nellie, I love that. Give myself the permission. Yeah, sister, give yourself permission. I love it. Give yourself permission to be, to accept, to embrace, and to receive. You get to do that. If no one in your life told you that, then by God, get up and tell yourself that every day. I deserve. I am not going to live in my history. I'm going to live in my present. Nellie, I am fighting my urges the past week, and every moment, every day, I'm making dinner since November. I love that. First, I love that. I wish you were here at my house making dinner, because I have been lacking in the area of making dinner at my house. And it's so healthy and it's so healing and it's so meditative. It is a great tool to utilize as well to nourish yourself and to honor yourself and your family. Brenda, thank you so much for sharing this. You're the best. Ah, thanks, Brenda. I think you're the best too. So I want to thank you one more time for being here on Ask Gina, sharing my page with others. Share these videos, please. The more you, sharing is caring. The more you share, the more it gets out there, the more possibilities open up for me. I have two speaking engagements that are coming up that I'm so excited about, of course, out here in California. I wish you all could come. And I still have on my vision to have an Ask Gina conference or day somewhere, and that I could travel. See, here I'm going to manifest by affirming, you know, to travel the country and have these live seminars like what I'm doing with you all, that I would actually be there with you and in the audience so that you could ask these questions of me live and gain and share from my joy and my enthusiasm, like Sublimal said. So thank you, Brenda, for that sweet thought. And Nellie, I appreciate it so much. Please, you guys, keep sharing the page. Stay on here and support. I'm doing this as a public service from the kindness of my heart. Thank you, Nancy, as well. I appreciate you all so much. And if you enjoyed this topic, I hope that you did. Share it. Tell me other topics that you might be interested in. Share that on my page. And also jump on. I'm going to go on in a few minutes on Wings of Encouragement. I think I'm going to go a little early tonight. And I'm going to share a little bit more about You Are Enough. So join me there. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for your love and support. I really appreciate it. And take care, y'all. Hey, welcome, you guys. Welcome to Wednesday night. So glad to see you all. I'm hoping that we will have a lot of you on here tonight that I haven't seen in a while. I miss some of my friends here on Facebook on my Ask Gina page. And those of you that are watching from YouTube, you're getting a different angle tonight. I put you over here on the right side because sometimes I get distracted by what's not happening on my YouTube with the internet and all this nonsense. Hi, Elisa. How are you? It's so good to see you. And yes, very different presentation than on my Facebook page on Sunday. So I'd love to talk about that tonight. I picked the topic, Face the Struggle, tonight. So I'm hoping you all will be into it and supportive and wanting to see and talk and give me feedback, as you always do. And it's important for me to remind you all that I'm not acting as a therapist, although I am a licensed therapist in the state of California. I'm a marriage and family therapist, and my degree's in clinical psychology. Hey, Elisa, I know it's just you. It's totally a weird thing. I asked my friend who's a social media guru that something has happened since I'm going on his page. I feel like I'm losing people on my page that are here, that noticing. We're having a private session right now, Elisa, which is really funny. But that probably works for you, right? So yeah, so this is very unusual. I'm noticing this trend. It's not my preference. So I've been on here for about a year, and I've been, yes, one-on-one session. I've been building this following, and then suddenly something's gone different. So send me lots of love since it's you and I, okay? And I think some of it has to do with me going on this other page. And so we're going to have to figure it out. I was thinking maybe I should go on another night. What do you think, Elisa? And switch that up. So that it goes back out to my original audience or a different audience that hasn't tuned in for a while. I feel like people are waiting now to go on my friend Kelly's page, Wings of Encouragement, and that's a dramatic change, right? So typically we've got 200 or so people, and then it reaches a lot more than that. So I'm going to do the best that I can with what I've got, and tonight we're going to be talking about facing the struggle. So I don't know who the second or third person is viewing, but check in and say hello. Tell me who you are. I don't know if you've been on here before, if you're a regular, if you're new to this. Elisa's encouraging me to go on another night because I've gotten so much traffic over on my friend's page. I'll go live right after this live at 6:45. And on Wings of Encouragement, and a lot of people I think have transferred to watching on that page and not staying here with me. So you're my original crew, you're my team, you're my homies, you're the ones that I started this journey with, so I want to continue with you. I don't want to jump off here, so I'm going to keep brainstorming about how I can do it different. Okay, so Farid is watching. which makes 4, and I have 2 silent partners watching. Anyways, and somebody jumped off. So I'm Gina Tabrizi. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. This is a public service. I'm not acting as anyone's therapy. I take a topic, I tackle it, we talk about it, I read your comments, I respond back to you, and then we just keep it going, okay? So tonight is about facing the struggle. And Elisa, since we're having our private session, I'm struggling with going through old boxes from my past, getting ready to move. Oh, yeah, that's kind of heavy. That's a big deal, going through old stuff. So I've been considering with Farid, with my husband, to move as well. And it would require me to get rid of, like this room in particular, this entire room would have to go. And downsize, and yeah, it's a very emotional thing, right? You don't think that it will be. But boxes and things hold historical value for us, and they have memory, and they remind us of times good and bad, and we do attach our feelings to things. And so, right, old letters, step works, notes to my therapist, absolutely. So it is so important for us to be kind and respectful with ourselves when we're purging, when we're letting go of things that we don't hold on to. Hi, Shady Shay. We're having a private session. It's you, me, Elise, and Farid. So my moving on to my friend's page, Kelly Kettle, I'm calling you out, Wings of Encouragement at 6:45 has dramatically changed my traffic on my own page. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. So I'm used to my peeps, and there's so many of you that have been regulars with me and doing the deal and showing up every Wednesday night for the last year. And so I want to find a way to reinvigorate that. I don't know how that's going to work. I might have to go on live at a different time, and I'm going to call everybody out that's missing. Hi, Kenna. Kenna's here too, so there's us. We're kind of having a private group therapy now right here. So I was just talking to Elisa about, she's saying, seeing how I struggled back and relapse and come so far. We're talking about facing the struggle. My God, you guys, the struggle is real, as they say, right? You need to pay attention to what your struggle's about. For me, it's my depression that, wow, knocks me for a loop. Elisa, letting go of my past and starting over fresh. And Linda, hi Linda from Turlock, how are you? I'm so glad you joined us. This is amazing. So facing the struggle for me means, what is it that I'm dealing with that is painful, that's on my heart, that's weighing me down? Maybe it's something I'm frightened of, facing change. For Elisa, it's downsizing and moving to a smaller place and letting go of that. I'm soon going to be facing that very same experience, and I have tons of feelings about it. Sometimes facing a struggle is a loss of a friendship or a relationship, a loss of our health. I've certainly faced that struggle over and over again. And those of you who maybe are friends with me on my personal Facebook page, you know that I've been struggling with depression. So here I am, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to talk, ready to be present with you. And you would have no clue that I'm battling that battle. But truth be told is, we are the ones who have to rise up and rise to that occasion. When you're in the depths of it, you can express it. I reach out. That's just what I do to help me get through that moment. So I reached out on social media because I didn't want to pick up a phone and talk to anybody when I was in that very dark place. And some of you know because you reached out to me, which was amazing, right? And so when you're in that darkness, one of the things you have to do is you've got to get it out. You've got to tell people that you're carrying this burden. Now, some of us have the fear of being super emotional or appearing to be weak. Some of us have the fear of pushing people away because they'll be like, oh my God, she's such a Debbie Downer, or he's such a Doug Downer. I didn't know what the male version of that is. So we're afraid to show people our emotional side when we're struggling, that they might not want to stay in our company. So please, let's just let that go. Know that I seriously publicly put it out on Facebook to whatever, how many, I don't have, maybe 300, 400 friends. I don't know. I'm not I really don't know. But I put it out there, and boy, there was a lot of response to that. Well, you need to know that people hear you and that they understand that you're in pain, that you're somehow suffering, that you're alone, that you're going through a period that's dark or lost. Elisa is sharing with us, I'm overwhelmed because I put off purging old boxes and now I have to be moved in 2 weeks. I so get it. Getting into action is absolutely necessary, but I'd rather eat pie and watch TV. Oh my God, that sounds amazing too. So sometimes we need that comfort. We eat our feelings away. We need that comfort food. And it's a great distraction, isn't it? So when you're struggling to face that challenge, there's a part in you where you have to surrender. So it's important to say to yourself, I am completely powerless over this circumstance. I now have to move. I now have to leave this environment. There is no choice in that. The decision's already been made. And maybe the decision's made because it's a healthy decision, but you still fear letting go of what you know. All of us are afraid of letting go of what we know, right? You were very brave to come out with your depression. Thank you. So I am really, really open because I don't want to stay stuck. I don't want to stay stuck in my discomfort, in my fear, in my resentment, in my hurt, whatever that might be. And sometimes you feel you're stuck in a circumstance, which, you know, Shady, if you're still there, you can talk about that at work, where you feel powerless over a decision that you're wanting to make to move forward into a new position, to have a change of venue, location, like you're burnout and doing the same thing that you do, and someone else is holding the card of that power over you. Whenever we feel powerless, it's very painful. You know, Elisa's saying it's good for her to move. So she made that decision, and she made a decision to move forward in her life that would be healthy for her. And I applaud you for that. I think that's amazing. So how do we do it different? How do we surrender to that? Part of it is to walk yourself through it, to say to yourself, this is where we are. Stalling, delaying, ignoring, avoiding is not going to change any circumstance in our life, okay? We have to walk through this. We don't have a choice. And trying to do that with loving kindness to yourself would be the most important thing you could do. Shada decided to only focus on what I can control. Beautiful. That's surrender as far as I'm concerned. I've been stuck for 3 years after my divorce and haven't wanted to deal with this. Now I have no choice. Hi, Renee. How are you? I'm glad you jumped in here. We're having a little private group session. So remember, share my page, put it out there, send it to friends and families, invite friends. I am likely going to change the night because I do believe that going on my friends page has now gravely impacted my my viewers here, and I don't want to lose those viewers. You're all very important to me. So thank you for being here tonight. Elisa says the serenity prayer to help her. Facing a struggle is having the courage and the fear to speak it out loud and saying, I am completely powerless over this circumstance. It hurts my heart. I don't feel good about it. I feel lost. I feel lonely. I feel betrayed. I feel devastated. I feel frightened by this circumstance, whatever your circumstance is. It could be mental health. It could be physical health. It could be a divorce, a loss of relationship, a loss of a child, empty nest, a job opportunity that doesn't come through, or a job that you're burnt out on. Whatever those circumstances are for you, first it starts with facing that and having that awareness that I am no longer healthy where I'm at. Something has to change or something has to give because I'm struggling in this circumstance. And so first for you, identify what the circumstance is. Know what it is that you're struggling with. For me, at this moment and point in time, it is absolutely depression. And so I've named it, I've called it. And one of the things that happens is when you put it out publicly, which thank you, Elisa, for saying that that's brave. Yeah, I think it's brave. Sometimes it's just out of desperation too, right? And Elisa's saying things have been rough, but are looking up now, which I'm really glad to hear for you, right? And for me too. So sometimes in the midst of that struggle and in your bravery to put it out there to people, something else happens. You get advice that you don't want to hear. And so maybe tell me a little bit about that. Those of you that are on here and watching with me and engaged in the conversation, is sometimes when you put out that you're struggling with a fear, a loss, a health issue, mental, physical, emotional health issue, an addiction, whatever it is, sometimes the advice that comes back to you is not what you wanted to hear. Because truth is that oftentimes all we want is to be heard. And the more that we have experienced in our life that we have not been heard, the greater is that desperation to be heard by someone, whoever that someone might be. A friend, a coworker, a colleague, someone on Facebook, right? Elisa says we're as sick as our secrets. So anything that you keep hidden from yourself and that you keep hidden from other people constituting a secret, yes, it causes you to be toxic and it causes you to be sick. I have a friend that I've talked to this week about a relationship issue with a secret. And so this is a huge struggle now, and it's causing a division in that relationship and possibly tearing it apart, because she now knows something that her partner hasn't shared with her, and now she's stuck with the secret. And she doesn't know how to share that she's come across this information, not because of him being forthcoming. So she stumbled on it. She now has this truth that she wants to acknowledge in some way, but she knows it's going to push her partner away. They're going to be angry because they want to deny. They want to deny to her that these circumstances are happening, right? Nothing grows in the dark. Absolutely not. So start by facing it. Then the other thing is, when you surrender and you face and you understand what your struggle is to speak it to another human being. We're not meant to do this all alone. And when we get in that place of feeling that I am absolutely alone in this painful moment, in this painful circumstance, it amplifies the feeling of loss and the feeling of pain. And so depression is much like that. It's like adding, an additional 200 pounds of pain on top of pain. And so you feel weighed down by it, where then you feel like you can't get your head above water. Where you can't breathe or you can't think, you can't function. So those of you who have that, who suffer with that malady, or you suffer with addiction, it sounds and feels very similar, or any other physical limitation in your life. Okay, so in that struggle is first the honesty, the surrender, the knowing that it's here and that it's real and I'm powerless over it, but also seeking that support. Why should you do that alone? Why should you suffer in silence? We really shouldn't. We're really wired to be a community, to be mindful of each other as other humans who are frail and vulnerable and suffering, to join together, to join hands and to move forward and to seek support. Lots of times on these lives I hear from people that they're like, I don't have any friends, I don't have family, I'm not married, all this kind of stuff, or my family's totally nuts and dysfunctional or sick and I can't be around them. I absolutely believe and hear that for many of you. I know for many of you that your family circumstance is not one that you can go back to them for support. And sometimes you've outgrown your friends too, right? So maybe you've had many friends that you've grown up with, and now as you're older and mature, you no longer can connect. You don't have the same relationships. You don't feel supported. Maybe you've moved, maybe you've gotten divorced, and now you're like, I have to make all new friendships. And it's really hard as you age to put yourself out there to create new friendships and lasting friendships like you've had in the past. But it's absolutely essential, okay? Elisa's saying, I am surrendering to my situation and walking through. It's overwhelming, but I can do it because I'm a strong, sober woman. Well, there you go, girl. So yes, you rely on what you have and the strength and the recovery that you have. For many of you, those are spiritual beliefs and practices, or a religion that you lean on, that you have faith in, that gives you hope, that helps you to move forward. For some of us, it really is other people, other places, and other things. So those of you who are recovering addicts, you have the 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. If you're codependent, CODA, if you know what I'm saying, or Al-Anon. So you go to support groups to seek that community to help raise you up when you're in a place where you can't. Elisa's saying she had to let go of a few friends this past year. So cleaning out your closet isn't just figurative. In the home, when you're letting go of clutter, friendships are the same way. We often have to go through periodically and clean out the closets of our friendships. If you've noticed in relationship, in a friendship that you've been struggling, or you have this sense that we don't really connect the way we used to, we don't see eye to eye, we don't have the same common interests, or your friend only has one focus and that focus is for fun and for free, getting high, getting loaded, or partying, or just nonsensical things that don't have value for you, hold no meaning for you, and are no longer something you want to participate in, then it is absolutely necessary to clean those friends out of your closet. Is it easy? No. I'm saying these things like, hey, just throw it out, like that old shirt with the holes in it that you've been hanging on to since 1999. No, I know that it's not that easy, but take an inventory and take stock in what is this relationship bringing to my life? And truly, when I am in my dark and I am suffering and I'm needing a friend and I'm needing a shoulder, where the heck is that person? Those people that you rely on, if they don't show up in your dark places, then that friendship is very limited. It's a friendship of convenience or a friendship just for fun. And that's all right to have friends that are just your fun friends that you go out with and you have a good time with, or you're silly with, or you laugh with. But all of us are humans that struggle and will fail at things and have issues and have problems and have fears, have resentments, and have moments of loneliness and sorrow. And we've got to have those go-to people. Without them, we are lost. We are lonely. We are in fear. We are frightened. Sublimal, it's so good to see you here. My God, I'm missing my friends. It's Thursday morning at 7:30 a.m. for Sublimal, and it's 6:20 for me. So I've already been on 20 minutes. I started at 6, and it's at 6 o'clock, and I've got 6 people. And normally, you all know there's a lot more traffic on here. So I think everyone's jumping on to my friend's page. And I love that, and I appreciate that, because that's still supporting me too. But I don't want to lose Ask Gina behind supporting someone else and someone else's vision. Hi, Nancy. So I'm willing to take suggestion on it. I am willing to switch nights and go to a different night. Or meet you guys at a different time, and I'm willing to hear from you, because you are my peeps. You're the one that started this journey with me, and that's way, way important to me, okay? So we've been in a very deep conversation. Hi, Nancy. Again, and hi, Nellie. Where you guys been? I've been all worried. I've been on here. Elisa and my husband and Shay, my girl, have been on here supporting me, and some other person that is remaining nameless, a 4th and 5th person, and you guys. So I'm so glad you're here with me. I've been deep in it, and I'm going to give you some time. And Jodine is here, which is amazing. Hi, Jodine. So I'm wondering, too, we've been deep in conversation about facing a struggle, the steps that you need to take when you acknowledge that you're struggling in your life with whatever the circumstance, physical, emotional, spiritual struggle, your health, your finances, the loss of a relationship, the loss of a child, the loss of a friend, a job, moving, turning it over. Elisa is having to move and downsize, and she's in that struggle, and I'm freaking out because I'm headed in that direction, and I don't know how to let go of all of the stuff in my life that somehow has some sentimental, emotional value to me that I'm hanging on to. And I know it's time to clean out that closet, like I was speaking with Elisa and Shay, if she's still on here, about. And so now that you guys have jumped on here, I'm kind of repeating so you can catch up to know what is your struggle, what is it that you're facing, and how do you emotionally clean out that closet. We were just talking about letting go of friendships that no longer serve you. You know, if you get sober and then you've got those party friends, we always tell people you got to change your circumstance. People, places, and things. You can't stay in the same stomping grounds with the same people doing the same toxic behavior and think you're going to stay sober. Those of you who aren't addicts and alcoholics, you have that friend who's needy or demanding, who always wants from you, who always has expectations, but always seems to be disappointed with you. or that friend that doesn't show up. You're the strong one, and when it's your turn to be frail or to have a problem or a situation that you're struggling with, that friend doesn't show up for you. Well, take inventory of that, because you may have outgrown that friendship. Maybe it was a friendship that served you a decade ago. Maybe you were friends together and you're both married and your kids and you're raising them. Now suddenly you're divorced, the kids are out. He or she isn't in the same circumstance and they no longer relate to you, and you notice that they treat you a little bit differently. This is just an example. Whatever your struggle is, define what it is. That is a struggle that I'm presenting to you that's realistic. And in that struggle, you have to face hanging on to this friend is causing me more pain than it is to let that friend go. And it is so hard to let people go that have history with you, that have been through other journeys and other challenges with you, but then suddenly they're no longer able to show up or muster any kind of loving support for you. It is time to cut those ties. Nellie says it's very hard to say no to adult children and get smothered from their struggles. Oh my God, absolutely the truth. Once your children have grown and moved away from you, but they still emotionally have a lot of the child left in them. They haven't fully matured. They're not absolutely 100% independent or financially independent. I will tell you, I have one out of the home and one who she's practically out of the home, living in the home, but practically out in her mind emotionally. It is such a struggle because, you know, it's hands off. I got this. I know what I'm doing, but they don't. And you have to step back in because suddenly they'll be in crisis for something. Well, you never showed me how to do this, or I never learned how to do that, or I don't have the money to do that, because you were always that person for them. It is very painful. And the other thing is to have your adult children maybe shaming you for the way that you parent them in the present. If you were a parent who had struggles when they were young and you weren't available, or you were an alcoholic or an addict or whatever, and that caused you to be unavailable, or you were depressed or whatever, yeah, I can get that they're going to go back and they're going to take that inventory with you and point it out. But in the present as an adult, and you are also present with them and you are showing up and you're doing the very best that you can, it is so hard to constantly hear the criticism of an adult child. So I totally hear you, Nellie, and I support you, and I want to say to you, hold your ground, and yes to all of that. And one of the things that you can do, whether, oh my God, hi Kat, how are you? I have a year. Oh my God, she has a year sprite. I'm just announcing it here, and all of you help me so much in so many ways. Can't wait to see you all again. I still go through life with grace and dignity. Yes, that's amazing. I'm so excited. I was in the middle of talking to Nellie and I saw Kat on here. So Kat, I'm so happy to hear that. So I just want to say, and Fareed is saying hi to everybody, and say hi to Fareed. I just want to say to you, Nellie, that yes, in that circumstance, one thing that you can do to protect yourself from being wounded by an adult child who's coming back with criticism and judgment and resentment is to say, I love you. I'm here right now. I can't change where we've been. I can't change what we've done in the past, but I can change our circumstance and our relationship right now if we can talk this through. This is the best that I can do. This is what I have to offer you. I cannot fix our history. Oh my God. Hi, Myrna. That's my cousin Myrna. Say hi to Myrna and Kenneth. I just picked up 15 years, Kenneth. Woo, woo. And Kat picked up a year. And she stopped smoking. Shut up. And Farida's saying hi to all of you. Sublimal Cat is probably commenting to you when they don't extend positive, purposeful support, then they are no longer friends, and hanging around them, hanging around is useless and could become the source of unnecessary, painful burdens. Yes. Okay. That's a lot. It's a mouthful and it's awesome. So that's what I'm doing with Paige. I have her in therapy. So Kat, thank you for sharing all that. And whoever else climbed on here with us, I'm so glad to see you guys. You know, I still start at 6 o'clock. I know that I've lost a lot of followers or viewers who jump on the page because I've told you guys at 6:45 after this live, I go live on a friend's page. It's called Wings of Encouragement. And I didn't share that ever to intentionally drive traffic away from myself. I did that to be of service to another person, another friend, and he has a huge amount of followers. So he felt like this is a vision of mine to be of service and to be this public figure, giving away my experience, strength, and hope and my knowledge as a therapist. And so by doing that, we thought, okay, it's just going to bring more people to the table and serve more people and me to get my message out there. But I think a lot of people now wait and go on to that page and don't jump on here with me. I want to say to you, those who have stuck here with me for this past year, is to me, this feels very intimate. You know, it's a smaller group. I've gotten to know all of you by name, now by face on your profiles. And you share with me, some of you private messenger me throughout the week. And I'm so grateful for that connection. And really, I offer my experience in whatever way that I can. It's my nature to do that. This is just a bigger platform. So what I want for you is to continue to show up here with me. And please look on my page, because I'm strongly considering going on a different night. I know I said that earlier, but those who have just jumped on here, I'm considering a different night so that I'm not in conflict with this other page, and that viewers will start to see that it's a different opportunity, okay? So let's go back. Nellie, the guilt is so heavy, it's hard to say no. Oh my God, yes. I fell asleep 5 minutes before you came on when I was going, oh, Nancy, I get it, girl. And are we in a different time crunch too, so you're staying up later? Am I remembering that correctly? So thank you for that, girl. I know. If it was me listening, honey, I would have been asleep already. So when I sit down and quiet things down and I'm just focused on one thing, I immediately feel how tired I am from the day and will automatically go to sleep. So I feel you, Nancy. Thank you for staying here. Kat, Gina, what she would you recommend for EMDR? Ah, what age? Thank you. Would you recommend for any EMDR? Oh, honey, children can do EMDR too. Those of you who have been on here know that's one of my go-to therapy tools. I always tell you guys to look in and investigate EMDR. It is the most amazing therapeutic model and tool that hands down, that is out there, really. And it's been around since 1980s, late 80s, early 90s. So yes, many EMDR therapists do the work with children, you know, probably, I don't know. I don't think there's a age limit, but I'm thinking like maybe 7-ish, where they have comprehension and could easily communicate back and forth and kind of understand the format, okay? I think it's amazing. And yes, I'm so glad that Paige's therapist does EMDR, and I hope that she will have that opportunity. You know how I feel about it, and I know how much that is helpful to you. So I'm glad you're an advocate for it. So sharing with Nellie and sharing Facing the Struggle, that's our topic for tonight, and kind of revisiting it. I want to say that, first of all, identify what it is that you're struggling with: personal, professional, physical, emotional. Identify that for you. I identified on Facebook this last week my depression, and I spelled it out very clearly what it feels like. And I think I freaked some people out. I got a lot more phone calls than I expected. I did expect people to respond and send their love and encouragement, which was all that I needed. My cousin was one that reached out to me too. Her brother actually reached out to me too. And, you know, which is kind of unusual. So it felt like it was a big deal. All I wanted was to speak the truth and say it in the moment and the way that I felt it, and be totally transparent. I don't think you can heal anything until you put it out on the table. If you keep it hidden from yourself and the people in your life, then there's no healing that. It remains in the dark, and it remains a secret that you're holding on to that you can't get liberated from. So by just speaking your struggle, that's the first thing I would say to you, is that's where it starts to take the power out of it. And so for me, describing depression as a demon on my back, yes, it's very graphic, but I am a storyteller, and I did take creative license, and it did scare people, but I said, that's what it feels like. It feels scary like that. It feels dark and heavy and you feel lost in it. I am certain addiction feels the same way. I'm certain losing a loved one feels the same way, going through a death. I'm certain losing a job, financial security, a spouse. I'm sure all of those losses feel exactly the same way. And Nellie, dealing with a partner with schizophrenia and bipolar, dear God. I mean, talk about a monkey. Well, I said demon. I'm saying a monkey on your back. I hope your world is brighter tonight. Nancy, look. So one of the things I do and one of the ways to cope is, hi from Houston. Hi, Lena from Houston. Thank you for jumping in here. And one of the ways that I cope is by adding color. So do things that make you feel good about yourself on the outside until you can really tackle the inside. I wore bright colors today. I wore this very bright scarf and my boots are matching it. They're bright red. And then the jacket I wore over it is bright green. I don't typically wear that bright of a color. So whatever you have to do to trick the mind into feeling differently and pull you out of your struggle, pull you out of your depression is absolutely okay. Get a bath, get a massage, get your hair done, get your nails done if you're a female. If you're a guy, go work, whatever the heck you do. Go work on your car or build something, go to the gym, lift weights, talk to a friend, go dancing, go to a club, go to a meeting, whatever ways that something lifts you up. Listen to inspirational speakers on Facebook and social media and podcasts. When you're in that dark place, you got to find a way to bring the light into you. So me blasting my depression scenario this past Sunday on my Facebook was blasting the light back into that dark place so I wouldn't be there alone, and that I could pull myself out of it and start to see some beauty, some love, some support, many prayers, many mindful and thoughtful people that reached out. And I'm just saying to you to do the very same thing if you are facing a struggle right now. Nancy's saying, I have a child with schizophrenia, and oh my God, and can relate to Nellie. Nellie, that's a huge burden, and that is a very difficult relationship to be in, no matter what the circumstance, whether a child, whether a spouse, whether a family member. I worked today with a client who her brother was schizophrenic and wound up committing suicide. I think the pain for him and his mind and the distorted world that he lived in became too great for him. But the burden of her, you know, to live out her life and her feeling of this great loss from her brother and feeling the guilt of, you know, should I, could I, would I have done something different, okay? Kat is sharing, how do you feel about two people in recovery seeing each other? Kat's having a private session here with me, especially a man who understands what we go through and gets how we get to those dark places. Oh my goodness, that's a whole other topic for recovery. So you know that the standard is, we say, stay out of relationship for the first year. I know you're hitting that year and you're right on the cusp of it. I would say tread lightly and move slowly into relationship. Don't lose yourself, your program, your serenity, your relationship with your child for anyone, because no one is worth it. Yes, another addict who's in recovery can relate better to you, but sometimes that helps us join together and bond and move forward. And for some people, it pulls us back into a darker place, because depending where they're at in their recovery, if they start to slide, it's very easy for you to slip with them. So you're going to have to trust, sponsor meetings, if you're still seeing a therapist, for guidance and support so that you don't get lost in a slippery slope. And sometimes it can be perfect and magical and a miracle. So Farida again is saying, Diana, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. I can't believe that. How do you help someone in a dark space? Lena? Okay, so the first half, you look beautiful in all colors. Thank you, Jodine and Nancy. Nellie, difficult balancing for sure. Lena, so the whole beginning of this talk, so it's usually 30 minutes from 6 to 6:30. I am guaranteeing that next week I am going to show up at a different time, because I know that this isn't reflective of the viewers. Over the past year, I've built a good solid following of viewers. They're now jumping on another page that I will go on in about 8 minutes. I'm going to sign off with you and go on that page. I do encourage you to go on there and watch, because I feel like what you have, you should give away and not control the outcome of it, and just trust the universe or God, whatever you believe in, and what direction it's going to go in. And that page is all about encouragement. And I'm just going to give more advice. I'm just going to keep rolling with this same topic, Lena. So I will readdress this on my friend Kelly Kettle's page. It's called Wings of Encouragement. I'm a guest speaker on that page. And it's just to be of service and to give it away and to have a bigger platform because it's got a huge following, okay? So getting out of the dark place I mentioned earlier is bringing light into the space that's dark. So you show up for a friend that's hurting, you hold their hand, you walk them, you talk to them, you offer them to take them to a meeting or a counselor or a therapist or a pastor. You tell them that they're not alone. You send them messages of encouragement. If you're that friend, over this last week, I can't tell you, it was amazing to get so many private messages. I'll take you to dinner. Let's go for a walk. What do you need? I'm sorry that you're suffering. I see you. I hear you. I care about you. Every human needs that. Can you pin the page? I will try. If I don't know if in between the two lives I'll have time to do that. Fareed, can you pin the page? If you go on my page, Ask Gina, and you scroll back, you'll see that there's a screenshot for Wings of Encouragement, okay? It has like palm trees in the logo with like some yellow or bright flowers, and then the backdrop of the page looks like a bunch of business people, an outline of business people having conversation. But other than that, but I love this page. Sublimal, I love this page too, and I can't have that, keep losing the momentum of this page. It's so important to me. This is my page. This is the one I'm attached to. It has my name to it. And Nancy loves it too. And I love that you guys love it. I just think I should go on a different day, and that way it gives people options. So you guys let me know. And I'll test it. I'll do a dry run. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow night, or maybe I'll wait till next week. You guys send me messages and tell me how you want to do that, because you're such a big part of my story and why I'm still here doing this with you. It's mentally exhausting. So getting out of the dark, you got to bring light into the circumstance. And what I explained earlier, like using the example of my depression is, I don't know why I air quoted my depression. It shouldn't be air quoted. It should have an exclamation point at the end of it without the air quote, because it's for real. I reached out to people. I told on myself. I said how I was feeling. I described it in very descriptive form that people would understand that it was real, that people like you watching me and seeking my guidance, my experience, my inspiration would go, my God, Gina, who makes me laugh, who motivates me, who's so passionate about what she does. She's in a dark place. She's in a depression. She's losing it. Absolutely, 100%. And that transparency is role modeling that if I can pull myself and be present for things like this, even in my darkest hour, that you can do that, that it's possible. It's just a choice to take an action, to move forward, to not stay in the darkness, to bring light into that circumstance, to lift yourself up, to do things that are mindful, self-care, meditation, yoga, exercise, eating healthy, staying away from sugars and drugs and alcohol, anything that's toxic for you, toxic people, resting, getting a massage, going for a walk, being in nature. Gina T, the real deal. Thanks, Nancy. All of those things are the ways that you give back to yourself and give yourself love and support and guidance in a dark hour, facing that struggle. Self-care is the most critical thing you can do. Speaking up, using your voice, and asking people to see, hear, and know that you're in that struggle and that you need that loving hand, that loving support, and that loving encouragement. Hi Marla! I'm gonna read a few of these comments, and then I'm gonna try to regroup before I jump back on the next page at 6:45. Nellie, yes, Gina, it helps me a lot to let these out and get good feedback from you and others on here. See? I love that. You're welcome. Sublimal, Gina, you're kind of motivational charger for me. Amen, brother. Fareed is telling me it's 6:41 because he's afraid. It's 6:42 now. He's afraid I'm going to be late to the other live. Okay. This is my page. It's Ask Gina. Go on there, comment. You guys can share things probably. I don't know. It's a business page. I don't know how it works if you can share things on there, but you can messenger me. You can tell me what you want to hear. I am really, really going to take the risk to come on at another time so that we have that opportunity to have all our friends come back to the party. So we've had about 200 of you, 500 in general, and then there's 11,000 people that like the page, and on any given video I can have 1,000 to 7,000 views, but in our little moment together live, there's about 200 of us that have been together and consistent. And so I love you guys. I want to stay with you. I want you to be here. I want you to support. I want you to share the page, share the videos. That's really, really important to keep growing. Fareed wants you to send comments. Thank you, Elisa. You've been such a great support of me, Elisa. I can't thank you enough, okay? Jamie Wilson Berry, how are you, girl? Girl, I'm signing off. I gotta go. It's 6:43. Thank you for reminding me about how we broke our butts in the gym and making me laugh so hard, because that made my day, in all honesty. I'm signing off. I'm going on my friend's page. I love you too, Kat. I am so glad you jumped on here, and all of you. So please stay tuned, okay? Please come back. Please tell me if you want to see me a different night, a different day, multiple times, anything. Start messengering me on Ask Gina on my Facebook page. Please share it, okay? So let's keep this going, all right? If you want to jump on Wings of Encouragement, I hope Fareed will send the link. If not, look on my Facebook page. It is on there. You might have to dig back a little bit and you'll see an image of it, all right? I'm going. Love you guys. I'm sorry that you missed it. You can watch it, though. As soon as I'm done, it'll post. The live becomes recorded, and you can watch it, Jamie, okay? All the best to you. Hello, hello. Good evening. How are you guys? Happy Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Here we are in beautiful, sunny Southern California. We did have some torrential rains. It was quite fun about a week ago. For us, it's like a flood because we're so unaccustomed to having rain. And now you see we have mudslides and all kinds of interesting things. So if you're hearing any sounds, it's my laptop updating itself. I don't know what it's doing. I'm going to try to ignore it. Hi, Nellie. How are you? Hello, Mitchell. Sorry, YouTube. I was moving the camera, the Facebook phone, and I got my hands all up in the YouTube. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Hi, Fran. What's up, Buttercup? Mitchell, thank you again for the topic last week. That was amazing. I really appreciated it. And I hope you'll send more topics. So somebody that was watching me said they have some issue with the beginning of the show because I take so long to get to the topic because I'm so friendly and caught up in saying hello to everyone like George and Elisa. And, you know, they were kind of bothered by it, and that's okay. I know we can't make everybody happy. But I did want to acknowledge, oh my God, this computer is like off the charts. I did want to acknowledge that, and what I explained to them was, you know, maybe what I can do is go on YouTube directly and just do the topic because I'm not looking at feedback and I'm not getting people checking in and things like that. Good for you. How are you? I'm good. So I just wanted to tell you guys, I do appreciate the back and forth and the banter that we have together. And I do want to acknowledge you for being on here and watching and supporting me every week. So that's what the first couple of minutes is. And also it's kind of a warm up to get to the topic because it takes me a minute to kind of get going, and also for you guys to come on, you know, come on live. And so I don't want to miss the topic. What are you guys talking about? You lost me. I forgive you. It's a song. What is love? Oh, you guys are having your own dialogue in the background. I think you're doing just fine. Well, thank you, Mitchell. I really appreciate that. I always need the support, and I'm always open to feedback. Subhamal, how are you? How's it going? It's 7:32 here in India, December 13th. Subhamal and I have had some back and forth conversations on Messenger, and I just want to shout out to Subhamal and send him some love because he does some amazing charitable work out there in India, rescuing, feeding, locating homeless, addicts, alcoholics, finding them treatment and recovery, placing them, educating them. He actually told me in the middle of the night, they actually go and pick up people that are on the street that could possibly die overdose because there's nothing out there for them. Okay, so just the weather and just, you know, being addicted. Their life is threatened on a daily basis. So I know I'm doing a lousy job of explaining what you did, Subamal, but it's amazing. So I would like you to send a shout out to him too. I love the way you do this live chat. Well, thank you, Nellie. I like it too. I like talking and hearing from you guys and having you feel part of the process, not just me talking at you. But I could see value in someone just clicking in and going, hey, I just need some pointers on how to deal with my relationship, and just hearing me go straight to the topic. So we'll see. It may or may not happen. So thank you to all of you who have been listening today, in the past, over the last year. Whenever you've jumped on here, I really appreciate you and I really enjoy the time that we have together. That's awesome, Subamal. It is. He's totally awesome. He's like a super awesome dude. I'm so impressed by what he does out there. So kind of on the same page with me, just being very passionate about recovery and helping those who suffer, right? So we're all in it together, and hopefully find ways to support each other every day in this journey of life, which is not easy. And I guess I am leading into the topic, which is don't take me for granted. Well, I wasn't talking about me personally. However, I could really speak to it. I want you to think about your relationships and the people you work with and the people that you spend your time with. And I want you to ask yourself how often, if at all, or if frequently, you have said to yourself, I feel like I'm being taken for granted in this relationship. So Subamal is enjoying us and accepting the praise, and blessings to you guys all I need today. That's awesome. We're sending our blessings. So have you ever felt that in relationship, in a job, in a friendship, in your family, the part of you that says, I'm really being taken for granted? And that's different for all of us. But taking for granted could simply be that you're not being seen and you're not being heard. Your opinion is not being valued. Being taken for granted could be, you know what, I take care of a lot of the details of this family and no one seems to notice or acknowledge or recognize that. No one seems to be sending me love and appreciation or validation. Being taken for granted could simply be people mistreating you or treating you in a way that's unkind and unfair because they're so used to you taking it. They're so used to you taking it on the chin, and you're the one that laughs when they're making fun of you or criticizing you or putting you down in some way, or making fun of your likes and your dislikes or things that you need. Maybe you're voicing to your family members, your loved one, your spouses, things that you need, and they're like, oh, honey, you don't really need that. That's not that important. These are really subtle ways of taking people for granted, but it's very painful to feel as though you've been taken for granted. So I want you to think about, for yourself, what are those relationships? And what relationships have I been in that I've felt this way, felt misunderstood in this way, felt ignored in this way, felt belittled in some way because someone's not valuing you and your opinion. So how many of you have ever had that issue? Kind of raise your hand at me. Hi, Kelly. We're talking about being taken for granted. You know, sometimes when you're that go-to person, you're that strong person in your family, or you're that survivor, or you're the one that shows up with the answers and the solution and the kindness and the love and the compassion, everybody puts all of that on you. It just expects you to show up for, oh, she'll handle it. Oh, he'll take care of it. Oh, do you need to help? No, he's got it. Does that ever happen to you? Because it's happened to me a lot. So I want to hear from you and tell me your exact stories. Nellie, now, just today, I caught myself not having gratitude for my fiance, me just being a brat. Ain't nice. Hello. Hi, George again. And he's saying hello to Kelly. You know what, Nellie? That's a beautiful example. I do that. I know I do that. You know, I have bad days, or I have a lot of bad days and off days where I don't feel right and I don't feel good. It is very hard to acknowledge my partner or my children, my family, anybody that's in my circle, because I'm not feeling right. See, when we're taking someone else for granted, we may not be feeling right about ourselves. We may be suffering or struggling with something that we don't know how to say. Do you have a hard time to say to your partner that I'm really just not feeling good about myself? I'm kind of down on myself, or I feel like I made a grave mistake and I don't know how to correct it, or I've just been feeling a little blue. I mean, this is part of it. This is a way to open a conversation with somebody. They might feel you're taking them for granted because you're not engaged in the relationship. I check out. That's the thing that I do. I just check out when I feel overwhelmed or I feel fatigued or I feel depressed. I check out. So my partner has to try to figure out what's going on with me. And that's really, really hard. So in some ways, that's taking for granted the kindness, the compassion, and the presence of another human being that's right there. And you just assume they love me, so they're just going to stick with me. They're going to hang in there with me. They're going to get through this with me. I really don't need to explain myself. Well, it's not fair. People take you for granted because they don't know you. They don't know what you're going through. They don't know what you're feeling. And if you don't tell them, right, they'll take you for granted. But if you're not expressing to your partner, they also feel that you've taken advantage of them or taken them for granted. Are you following me? All right. Yes, a lot at work and with my daughters mostly. Okay, so Mitchell feels that way with his daughters. Hey, as a parent, I get that 100%. Sometimes you're like, you don't see what I do so that our lives can be okay, so that you're supported financially, emotionally, spiritually. You don't see how often I sacrifice myself. I give up of myself, of my time, of my desires, of my wants and my needs to try to make it okay for you, that you're fully taken care of. As a parent, that's our job. We are supposed to do that. However, it doesn't mean it's not a sacrifice and that it doesn't feel bad sometimes. And sometimes that you don't want to say, can you see me for a minute? Can you put that garbage out without me telling you 25 times, or pick up your room? Can you think about bringing me dinner for once? I mean, that's if your kids are older like mine and they're capable of doing these things. When you have little kids, you're sentenced to being taken for granted, because you are 100% at their beck and call. Now, not all of you have kids, but you have relationships, you have dogs, you have pets, you have cats, you have other people that you 100% have to take care of, and they're relying on you to be that person. It is very painful to feel that you are not appreciated, that you are not validated, that you are not seen. It really, really hurts. And most of us suffer some self-esteem issues, some wounding from our childhood, from being told we weren't enough, we're not good enough, we don't matter, we're not valued. Some of us, most of us, suffer a little bit of that self-esteem. So we're looking for that validation. Do we have to have it? Is it necessary? Well, no. You can build a case that says if your self-esteem is fully intact, then you don't need validation from anyone. That's fabulous, but most of us are not there. We're not that psychologically sophisticated or healed or whole, because we're on a journey to getting well or being healed or getting whole, right? So in our recovery, we have a wounded self-esteem. And so it is easy for us to feel that people are taking advantage of us and not seeing or hearing us when they don't acknowledge. When you don't say to your partner, I appreciate you. When you don't say and hear from your children, you're amazing, Dad. You're amazing, Mom. I couldn't have gotten through the day without you. You do so much for me. And some of us won't hear that for decades until our children are grown. So it is a thankless job very often. So tell me a little bit more, Mitchell, but you're right. It is a lot my fault. I don't express myself with them. I just get angry. I think, okay, Subamal, that's a huge conversation. India has more than, Subamal is commenting to George, and later I'll probably go back and read it, but George is going to tell you a lot. Subamal can tell you a lot about the work that he does and how he supports, the people in his country, but addicts, alcoholics, homeless. But I personally believe that we are all parts of God. We come from God, and that's where we eventually go to. Well, thank you for that, Elisa. I've been taken advantage of and received no appreciation, plus was told it wasn't enough, no longer in those relationships. Amen to that. So anyone else relate to feeling like they oftentimes take other people for granted? You know, we can talk about ourselves and how we feel, and that we know that people are not acknowledging or validating or appreciating us, but are we doing the same? Are we able to catch ourselves when we're the ones not being in gratitude, when we're the ones not saying to the people that help us out how wonderful they are, how much we appreciate them and need them? Is that happening to you right now? Hi, Ray Ellen Ellis. So we're talking about being taken for granted, or us taking other people for granted. And right now I want you to think about that piece. How often do you not communicate? Mitchell's admitting to not communicating with his girls, his daughters, about things that he's feeling and communicating. He just gets angry. Well, we all get angry. We all get angry when we feel we're being taken advantage of. We all get angry when we feel like we're not appreciated by other people. It is our job to communicate, what do we need to feel okay in the relationship? What do we need so that we feel seen and we feel heard and we feel validated? Why do we keep our mouths shut? Why do we silence ourselves when we are feeling hurt? Whatever the hurt is, whether it's being taken for granted, whether it's somebody cheating on you, whether it's somebody verbally or emotionally putting you down or criticizing you, whatever that hurt is, why do we resist? Why do we not share those things with other people? Again, going back to the self-esteem, but also fear. We are frightened. We are afraid to confront. We are afraid of change. We talked about change last week and the topic, but we are so afraid of it that we silence ourselves and we don't communicate the things that bother us the most in our relationships. We're so afraid of being abandoned or being left. We're also afraid of hurting the other person or getting more hurt or more injury. If we become vulnerable and we share ourselves, we have great fear that that person can do more damage, that they can actually do us more harm. It is our job to verbalize to the people around us that I don't feel like you see and appreciate the things that I am providing or bringing to the table. I often feel like you take me for granted, and it's really, really painful, you know, and take that risk that they're going to be hurt. Take the risk that they're going to withdraw. Take the risk that they might be angry with you, because really when you're getting mad at people because you're not communicating to them how you feel, that's your resentment building up on you. And I know Mitchell will agree with me on that. You're building up resentment and therefore you're getting angry. But it's because you haven't shared and exposed your true feelings of hurt and sadness. Almost always the flip side of that anger is sadness or hurt that is unexpressed. It is like we have this fear of not only being vulnerable, but putting ourselves in a position where someone can do more harm, almost like lowering ourselves like beneath them, putting ourselves below them by saying to them that we're hurt. It's a power struggle. It's a desire that we have in us, like we want to stay in control, so we don't want people to know how really hurt we are by our relationship or by them, you know, comments that they've made or criticism or taking us for granted or whatever it may be. George is saying a lot in Spanish. Yes, that's right. I caught myself and I showed him love today. Good job, Nelly. George, yo cuando era niño no tuve el amor de mis padres. George is saying that when he was young, he didn't have the love of his parents. You guys, this is a big deal and quite serious from George, who you know is always bringing us laughter. Cuando tuve mi hija, when he had his daughter, fue mal. He was a bad husband, pero le di todo el amor a mí. He gave all of his love to his daughter, and that amor y no recibí. Ahora ya tiene 20 años, mi hija se ha alejado y siento culpa eso. If I heard that right, George, it's that you gave her everything, but you didn't receive it in return, and now she's kind of alienated with you. How many of you have a situation like that where you're estranged from a child because of a divorce or a separation? You know, what happens in a family is when your parents or you or your parents might have happened to you when you separate and or you're divorced, there's a story that the children create in their mind. They align themselves with one or the other parent. And if they looked at you like you were the bad parent, you were the one that was hurting my mom, then in order to stay connected to mother, they have to align themselves with their mother. They have to reject you. So how many of you are the parent that got rejected? First of all, send that love to George, because it is very painful to raise a child and then have them reject you and pull away from you. But she's in this state of confusion. She thinks if she loves you, then she's discounting the hurt that her mother experienced. She's too tied to that saving and rescuing mother. And this is something I teach my clients all the time, is that it wasn't your job to save your mother. If their relationship ended, it ended for whatever, usually good reason, or rightfully it ended. But you can have your own separate relationship. You don't have to like what your dad did to mom. You don't have to like what your mom did to your dad, but you can see them as separate human beings. This is really difficult to teach someone. So to teach it to a child, much more difficult. So send some love to George, and prayers and thoughts of goodness and reunification, and know that his daughter can grow into a woman that has her own independent mind and spirit. Part of what happens with children growing up, and I know we're going into another subject now of being, still talking about being taken for granted. George was being taken for granted by his daughter, but also I'm wavering off into this parenting. But I want you to get it, especially those of you who are parents, is that through those years from like 18 to 25, our kids are learning to become independent, but they're not yet. And usually they're enmeshed. They're like very closely aligned with one or the other parent, trying to get all their love and validation from that parent, and they don't know how to separate. So in a family of divorce, that child doesn't know how to separate themselves from the parent that was hurt and start loving and aligning themselves with the other parent and having their own separate relationship, because they're afraid to lose this parent. That was the good parent, sort of, right? So they're afraid to lose that love and to lose that favor. And they're not quite mature enough yet to make their own, but it is their job to find their own path and their own way in the world, but in relationship with you too. And your children are supposed to grow away from you a little bit in their 20s so that they can establish their own independence. But most children from healthy parents and good loving homes around 24, 25 will turn around and come back, and they will bring gratitude and they will be grateful for the things that you gave them. So let me hear from people, because I know not all of you are parents, but we all had parents. So you can take the same story and apply it to your relationship with your parents. Kelly, my parents, I can actually read this. My parents divorced when I was around 2 years old, and I had resentment towards both of them for it. And I didn't get the love I should have got when I was a child. Kelly, yes. When you feel you didn't get the love you needed, and when our parents, sometimes parents divorce because their relationship was bad, and some of that spills over onto the child because they never got it right. They didn't know how to get it right with you, and it isn't okay. And you should never withdraw love from your child in any way, shape, or form. And it's wrong. And I understand the resentment. What I know is that just because they weren't capable doesn't mean that you're not. So you may be carrying the love, the entire love that was given to that family might be coming from you. You might be having the ability to love much greater than your parents did. And that's a gift. You don't have to limit your love towards others because they limited their love towards you. If they were incapable, doesn't mean you are. So letting go of that resentment, you can open up your heart to loving more and letting in more. And people don't have to be your family to give you the greatest love that you've ever had. Sometimes our family gets it completely wrong. And we have to go out into the world and develop a family of choice. And that's our friends or our cousins or our coworkers. Those often are the people who are the most loving, the most unconditional, that show up when you need them, when no one else is showing up for you. And that can happen in your adult life, and that can happen in your young life too. But letting go of the resentment, forgive your parents for what they didn't give you. You don't have to forget. I mean, you don't even have to forgive. I'm just going to say. I just think it's healthier. I think you'll have less burden in your heart. I think you'll have less anger. And maybe you'll see the good in them. Just keep the good and reject the bad. Take the parts of them that you did love or that you did like and let go of the other parts of them that don't serve you. But if anything, just let go of the resentment. You know, it's not okay. It's not okay not to be loved as a child. And it's not okay when our parents get it wrong and then we become part of the story. Because I have clients like that even right now that I feel like their children are paying because their unhappiness, you know, the mom feels like the husband left her and left her with these kids. So the resentment gets passed on to the kids where the mom thinks, well, maybe if I didn't have these kids, he wouldn't have left me. That's a story that has happened over and over again, and I've heard it over and over again. The children are not the fault of what went wrong with you, and so it's not okay to blame them and put that on them. So if I would say anything, you know, to you, Kelly, and to anyone listening is your resentment is catastrophic. It is a thing that is going to squeeze the life out of you. It is something that will not only will stop you in your growth, it will stunt your growth, and it will cause other people to not see you in your true spirit, who you really are, because they're going to be faced with this resentment that you're carrying. So resentment is just something that just puts a chokehold on your life that none of us need, and we've got to work to let go of, because that's our work. We're entitled to be angry and hurt and feel the resentment towards other people's bad actions, but it's our job to let that go. It's not theirs. It's for us to put down the weapon of resentment, not for them. Maybe they're never going to get it right. Maybe they're never going to turn around and make an amends. You're welcome, Kelly. Maybe they're never going to look at you and say, I loved you and I got it all wrong and I'm so sorry and I was horrible. I took you completely for granted as a child, as a wife, as a lover, as a friend, as a colleague. Maybe I did that. It is going to be so rare, that person that has that maturity and that spiritual awakenedness to surrender and to make that amends to you. So you've got to do it. You've got to put down the weapons. You've got to put down the resentment. You've got to put down the fear and confront and address these hurt feelings so that you don't keep dragging them forward into all of your relationships with other people. Oh my God, I went on and on. So I hope that you get all of this about being taken for granted. At the core of it, what I've said over and over again is our communication, our job to clean up our side of the street, our job to communicate our feelings to other people, our job to tell people if they're taking us for granted or advantage of us, and also to acknowledge when we're doing it to others. The greatest gift you can give yourself is to forgive other people. I know that sounds crazy, because they may never get there. They may never be spiritually enlightened enough to use the beautiful blessing and tool of forgiveness, because it heals the heart. It's the one thing that melts the resentment and the barriers and the rigidity of our hearts when we close ourselves off to people, is to forgive. So I hope that made sense to you all. Strong words. You got my full attention again. Good. Well, thank you, Mitchell and Nellie. My anxiety has been going away now that I've been letting go and releasing some of these painful memories. Good. I'm so glad to hear that. And so glad that you spoke up, Kelly, and that we could have this dialogue, because you got me on fire. And George, le digo a mi hija que mi pasado y los errores que cometí no los puedo cambiar, pero sí puedo construir un día a día diferente, agradable, y a dar lo mejor de mí. George is saying his amends to his daughter is to say, I can't fix the past and the errors of my past, but I can show up in the present and today, and I can change, and I can be present, and I can give every day, be grateful and be kind and give the best that I have. And we should all get behind that. We should all think that way. We should all speak to our loved ones in that manner, because I think that is all that you can do, George. You're absolutely right. Nellie, I've just started seeing a therapist since I've gotten sober again. It's been healing lots and releasing. Good job, Nellie. I hope you all go to therapy. Everybody go to therapy. You go to therapy. You go to therapy. You go to therapy. I go to therapy. Everybody. It's so healing. It is like that. It's unburdening yourself of your grief. It's letting go. Give Nellie a shout out. Give George a shout out. Give Kelly a shout out for sharing her story, and Mitchell, all to each other. Go to therapy. Get healing. Get counseling. I don't care how you get there. Get there. and let yourself let go of these things of your past and the things that are hurting you and the ways that you feel taken for granted of or misunderstood in your family. Get right about it. Get in there, get into counseling, get right about it. And the therapist like me is just going to coach you into speaking your truth and taking it back to your family and healing. You might be the key to heal the generational trauma in your family. You might be the key to healing the dysfunction in your family just because you start to communicate in a way that they never have. And so by doing that, that amazing, amazing gift of just speaking your truth and being honest in your family, you might heal this family and the family to come. And you're giving a family a gift that was never received because no one prior to you maybe ever took on the challenge of breaking the dysfunction in the family. So I say go for it because you're worth it and we're all worth it as human beings. We're all worth and we all have that right to heal. Sublimal, Nellie, I'd suggest that besides letting go, find someone to trust and unfold the story. Yep, she's doing that. She's going to therapy within. Release all the pain and resentments. You'll see the results. She's on that path. And thank you, Sublimal. Vargas, 2 thumbs up tonight. Way to open up. Oh, awesome. Awesome, George. You're getting 2 thumbs up. We got some real George tonight. We got some real truth out of George tonight. So thank you, George. And you know, sometimes that's how we cope. We all need to laugh. We all need to use our humor because life is very, very serious and often a struggle. And so it's all right that we laugh too, and that's how we get through. It's never too late to be that key. A healing family is a beautiful thing. Well, I agree with you 125%. All right. So we've come to the end again. Thank you, Nellie. Thank you so much, Gina, and all. This live chat helps a lot all the time. I'm so glad it helps you. I'm so glad to still be here. Every week I go, what am I going to talk about? Why am I doing this? Who's going to listen? So that's all my own stuff and my own fears or insecurity or my own disbelief. And so I keep showing up anyways. And so you're helping to heal me too and have me walk through my own fears by doing this with you. So I'm really grateful that it's helpful to you. Please, 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 please send me topics. Hi, Rena. I'm just jumping off. We're at the end of the live, but please watch it because when I'm done, I always post it. And so you could go back and watch it if you missed it. But please send me topics. I love it when you send me topics on Messenger. We cannot get recovery without humor. Amen. We need a lot. We need a lot of humor. So send me your topics. Not only that, I'm going to ask you one other big favor. Share my videos on your pages. There is a couple of you, Peter being one of them and John being another one. I think Nellie's done it too, if I'm right. Pull off my videos and share it on their own pages. That's a way to reach those people in your life that you know need to be reached by putting me in their face. And it helps me. It helps this flow going. It helps to build up my page so that God knows my plan and my dream is to have this be live and maybe go around the country and doing this for real live, you know, out there. All right, so thank you all. Good night to you. Good morning, Sublimal. Nellie is right. Gina works like a charger for the batteries in my motivation. I'm so glad. I'm so glad, you guys. I hope you enjoyed my live talk at Lifelines. This past Friday, I was at a church that's out here called The Crossing, and they have a segment called Lifelines. I was on there. It is on my page, and you can watch it. I was wearing, a burgundy shirt that had some holes in it with some black jeans. So if you see that video, watch it. It was pretty powerful. I shared my story, but I talked a lot about the connection between addiction, robbing life, and cancer. And it had all kinds of joy and humor and inspiration. So I hope you all watch it. So bless you all. Good night. Thank you so much. Elise, I hope you come to the crossing the next time. Good night to you all, and thank you, and I will see you soon, okay? Take care. Well, hey, welcome. Wednesday night, 6 p.m. I am right on time, I think. while I'm bragging about it, and I'm probably not. But hey, I had some fun. I went live in my car yesterday to give you a little sneak preview. Some of you I haven't seen in a while, and so I wanted to jump on in the morning time and see if that was a different audience of people that might want to chime in, and that was great. I had a good time. I don't know that I should be driving my car and going live, but it was fun. Hi, Kat, and some of you can relate to sometimes needing to break the rules because we can't always stay in those lanes and follow those rules, and sometimes it just makes life that much more exciting. Hi, Donna, good to see you. Thanks for catching the last live. I just commented to you that you watched it after it went live because you missed it. So beautiful. I'm Gina, and this is Ask Gina. Welcome. And I'm Gina Tabrizi. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm residing in California. I am not soliciting clients. I don't want clients right now. I've been in the practice for 32 long, beautiful, wonderful, amazing years, and I'm still blessed that I still get to do this work. And this I started as a public service at the urgency of my clients and patients and friends and people who asked Gina for advice, and they thought this would be a great venue for me to do this. So I hope you're enjoying it. If you're new to the lives, I'm very interactive. If you write anything, any comments to me, I am going to read them. So if you don't want me to read them, hi Margie, don't write them because I have no filter. You're going to find out. And what I want to do is just offer some guidance, talk about some subjects that might be important to you in your daily living, daily inspiration, problem solving, solutions, and kind of just putting out there that there's so much stigma around mental health and addictions and anxiety and all of these different things that all of us a little bit struggle with. And I just want to normalize it. I want us to understand that we're just people living the best that we can, and we all have tragedy, and we all have heartbreak, and we all have struggles, and we need to get here and have a platform to just be heard and to be seen and to be acknowledged and to get some guidance. And I know it's hard for a lot of you to, go into therapy. Maybe you're afraid of that venue. For some of you, maybe there's a financial restriction or a geographical one. So I can't find you on YouTube's site. I had messaged you. Oh my gosh, well, you found me here. Yeah, we're going to have to do a little better on my YouTube, but look for Ask Gina YouTube videos. Look for my name, Gina Tabrizi, Tabrizy. And or my business name that I founded with my husband, which is Harmony Heals. So under those names, you'll find all kinds of videos of mine that are archived there. And soon I'll get a little better with the YouTube going live. I haven't done it for a couple weeks now until I get used to that format. So for now, it's us. This is our time together. I'm usually on for about 30 minutes, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. I know attention spans are short, so God bless you for the time that you stay on here and you're engaged with me. I'm thrilled about that, okay? So if we're all good and volume's good and you guys are hearing me, send me a thumbs up just so I know. I'm just going to jump into the subject. I started talking about this and previewing it yesterday, and it was leaving bad relationships. And I can't remember if it was you, Donna, or someone. Hi, Shada. How are you, honey? Say hi to Shay. That's my girl. I can't remember who it was that was talking about leaving bad relationships. Does that include family? Hi, Terry. Absolutely, it does. Actually, most of the time it does. So this is something that we all struggle with a little bit, is once we recognize that we're in a bad relationship, we attribute all of this historical significance to it, and we think that, especially if it's family or someone that's been in our life for a long time, we're very nostalgic. I have a flood in my apartment, but still watching it. Oh my God, welcome to my world. I'm so sorry you have a flood, Shada. Send Shada some love and some hearts. I had a flood. You saw it. I videotaped it. I had it all. It's all over YouTube, my flood that we now repaired, but that was a nightmare. So I feel you. Hi, more people jumping in. Hi, Marla, I saw you. And Greta, how you doing? And Donna, and this light is blinding me. And Richard, hey, Richard, how's it going? So, all right, it is nuts, Shada. Imagine my whole entire bottom floor of my house and all around the outside, which you've seen. So you can imagine what a nightmare it was. So we get through it. These are lessons. We struggle. And when we get through hardships, man, you feel such a sense of triumph. So I don't know why these challenges present themselves in life, other than the fact that we're all human and we're all going to go through challenges. And when your challenge is that you've recognized that you're now in this bad relationship and it's a family member and you have all that history together and you have all of that cultural bias that says it's your family, you can't leave your family, you have to, family is for life, and you know, family's blood, and wow, we get all of this angst around it's not okay to separate, it's not okay to confront, it's not okay to leave your family. So, hola, hi George, how are you? George is here. George, you haven't been here in a while live. You keep missing me, so I'm so happy that you're here. And thank you for sending my girl Shay love for her flood. I don't know how to do the heart thing. I don't even think I was close, but I'll work on it. So with families, leaving bad relationships, family being one of the main ones. Hi, Lisa. Look, honestly, in reality, you don't know anybody anything. Okay, you were given the gift of life. You were born here. God bless your parents for giving you that gift and being part of your journey. But in reality, you don't even belong to your parents. You belong, this spirit, this soul is free, right? And it's divinely created and given to you. And this is something that we've got to understand, because when we come in to the world, we really come in alone, and when we go out alone. So the person we got to get right with is right here, right now, in this body, in this temple, as you want to say, right? Kat is saying, what's the best way to deal with an ex-spouse that's brainwashing your child? Well, that's like a heavy subject. So as I said, you got to get right with yourself and your spirit and your soul and what's your best interest. So I'm turning the light a little bit because it's blinding me on one side. And when it comes to spouses or parents or whatnot, there's a point at which you have to recognize, I am giving a lot to this relationship. I'm putting a lot in and I'm not getting a lot back. I've put a lot into the bank of love. My reservation of love has been put in, but there's nothing. I can't take a withdrawal because I'm not getting a return on my investment. It is not okay for anybody to treat you less than loved, less than regarded, less than heard, less than seen. And when your family members in particular, or your ex-spouse or whoever, tries to treat you like you were less than the beautiful human that you are today, then you have to start to put distance there. You have to start to set boundaries there, and you have to speak up and have a voice. Hi, Kenneth. So I see you. Thank you for saying it's a good topic, Elisa. And how that starts is basically to start to confront what isn't acceptable to you. We all have non-negotiables. Brainwashing your child is a non-negotiable, right? And that is very petty, and that's coming from a very immature place and a place of feeling threatened. Sometimes our spouses, our partners, our parents are reacting to the person we used to be. You guys have heard me say this before, and if I haven't said it, I'm saying it now, is don't let people sentence you to your history. If you used to be a person that you couldn't be relied upon, if you used to be a person that had the disease of alcoholism or drug addiction, if you used to be a person that was selfish, self-centered, and was impatient and intolerant and ignorant and unkind and prejudicial, okay, the person that I used to be, I'm not sentenced to that person for life. Everyone is capable of changing. Everyone is capable of growing. Everyone is capable of starting anew. and starting over and turning the page on their history and starting that new chapter. So with your families, it's saying, I'm not the person that you used to know. And in my sobriety, I keep my commitments. I show up. I'm an honorable person. I'm a trustworthy person. You can rely on me. If you choose not to do that, ex, partner, husband, girlfriend, brother, whomever, lover, if you choose not to see me in the light of the person that I am now, that's your choice. But that is going to limit this relationship because I need to be seen and I need to be respected for who I am right now. I can't make up for my past. I can't make up for what I got wrong. I can't right those wrongs. I can do today and I can do right now. So, hi Nellie, I'm so glad you're here, honey. We're talking about leaving bad relationships, girl, and this is a topic that might be of interest to you. I think you and I have had a little dialogue around something like this. So welcome, everybody welcome Nellie. And say, hey girl, you're here, you're doing it. God bless you, I'm so glad you're back. So just stay, honey. That's all you gotta do is just stay. So I was on a roll, so in regards to relationship, Kat brought up around a situation with an ex-partner, husband, who's brainwashing a kid. One of the hardest things to do in life, in anybody's life, is to leave a marriage, okay, with children, is to separate yourself from what isn't working anymore. You make this commitment, you make this vow for life. Yay, I'm glad you found me, Mike. He was like, oh, I missed you. And I'm like, no, I'm going live in 3 minutes. Come on. It's so hard, the guilt and the shame, especially you stood in front of God and your family and everyone and said, this is forever. And when forever doesn't happen, and when you find yourself in this miserable place in a relationship where you know it's ended long before you leave, and it's time to go, it's time to go. But when we make this decision and we have children, we're still bound to have some relationship with that ex, with that bad relationship. We still have to remain amicable. When your ex, any ex, is talking badly about you, talking down to you, to your family, to friends, to your children, you have the right to communicate with them. Now hear this, they're not going to, hi Brandy from Minnesota, I'm so glad you need to hear this and I hope that it helps. George, give me a minute and I'll translate that Spanish. So right now I'm addressing Kat's concern here that she brought up about an ex who's brainwashing her child, trying to brainwash her child against her. So here's the deal. You get to communicate with that person, but hear me, when someone is talking down, talking badly, putting you down, criticizing you, holding resentment or harboring resentment, however you want to look at that, talking badly about you to other people, gossiping, they're staying stuck in this idea of who you used to be, and they're also doing that so they can have control. They can keep you down. They can make you feel small and feel little and feel ashamed because they're hurt. What you putting a GIF up there for, Fareed? That's taking up my whole screen. Everybody say hi to Fareed. So when someone's doing that, Kat, they're doing it out of insecurity. They're doing it out of the idea of wanting to regain control over something they've lost control over. You can absolutely communicate with a spouse and say, these are the words that our child is repeating to me. Our child is speaking to me in this very negative way and telling me that they're getting that from you. I appreciate that you don't like me anymore, that you don't love me, that you don't have respect for me, but I want you to know that it is harming our child for you to put that negative thought process into their little tiny precious psyche. You're not hurting me, but you are hurting our daughter. And if that's what you're choosing to do, I want you to know that you're being successful at it. But I'm a woman of integrity today. I'm showing up. I'm taking care of life. I'm meeting life on life's terms. I'm staying sober one day at a time. I'm an accountable human being. I am a mother to this child. And so if that's your story, if it's not your story isn't about sobriety, maybe you cheated on your spouse and your spouse decides this is information to give our child, remind them the only person you're hurting is them and you. I understand I hurt you and I can't take that back. But that doesn't mean you get to beat me with that punishment, that punishing stick for the rest of our lives together. Keep that to yourself. You can talk crap about me to anybody you want in the whole damn universe, but leave our children out of it. Have enough respect and regard for the sanctity of the relationship that brought this precious child into this world. And if that person can't hear that from you, Kat, or anyone else who I'm talking to who's relating to this, then have them watch this video and say, I want you to hear what this woman said about having relationship and protecting and safeguarding the most precious thing that you've ever had between you, which is your child. Does that make sense? Okay. Thank you, Fareed, for watching and pouring all that up. And wish you could see me. I'm nodding my head yes to what you're saying. I know, Kat. I know you are. Love your seafoam green nails, girl. That was all my daughter, everybody. I don't normally have nails. I'm really bad about that part. That's one part that I'm not very girly about. And she's like, Mama, you need some nails. And so there you go. George, I feel that way sometimes, guilty, but I'm not the only one. You're absolutely not the only one. Thank you for the full moon blessings, Gina Abernathy. Endings and beginnings. I love that. This is about ending. This is about beginnings. And what I want to share with you is Facebook is doing some weird thing here where it says recording, low network connection. I don't know what that means. Can you guys hear me? So if you can, do a thumbs up. I'm not near, I'm in a different room and I'm not close to the modem and the Wi-Fi setup. So I want to make sure that you're still here with me. Can you send me a thumbs up? And if not, I might have to move. So let me know if you can hear me, okay? I don't know if Facebook is blocking me or my internet is blocking me. Now it says connection available. All right. Thank you all so much. I'm talking about how to leave bad relationships. The first way to do it, just figured out how to comment. Thank you, Helen, for commenting, and George is saying hi to you, Kat. George is very friendly with everyone on here, and he's very, very kind. So say hi to George. And Kenneth, some people act out of fear. Absolutely, Kenneth. 90% of the time, this is all about fear and losing control and not being able to be the person that they used to be in relationship with you. The first thing you do when you're in bad relationship is to confront it. Is to say to people, look, it's not okay with me every time we get together at the family dinner and you poke fun of me at, you know, the last time that I fell down drunk. Or you make fun of me because I don't have a job and I'm a stay-at-home parent. Or you make fun of me because I lost my job, because that's not really funny. I'm giving weird examples, but I bet they're examples that have actually happened to people. And then I have family members who just shun me, and I try to connect and I try to say hello. And then the next time I see them, they go, oh, well, you didn't even say hi last time we got together. And that makes me feel like I'm insane, because I'm like, you're the first person I walked up to and said hello and you completely ignored me. But now you're making it my problem. You have the opportunity, confront that family member. Hi from Jamaica. Hello. Come on, Gina. I don't know what you're talking about, George. I hope you're talking about me saying how nice you are. So yes, people do act out of fear, Kenneth. And yes, hi, Victor. So I'm glad you're all here, and I hope you're following. We're midway into this. We're talking about letting go of bad relationships and when it's a family member and when they're critical of you. How about those people who go, oh, gosh, you look tired. And they're basically telling you you look like crap. Or, oh, my God, you've put on some weight, huh? Or, oh, my God, you look so skinny, you know. I'm going to say guilty. I've heard that one a lot throughout my life. Maybe not particularly right now, but I have often, because I was one of the thinnest people in the family. So I always looked, in comparison, too thin. So it doesn't feel good for people to go, oh my God, you're too this, you're too that, you look like this, you look like that, or, oh, nice of you to show up. I don't know if you ever hear that one, when you finally decide to go to a family function and reconnect and you get that criticism. So here's the deal, confront it. Do not be afraid to use your voice. It's okay even in the moment. What happens to us is we freeze up, we get afraid. We hear rejection and it's terrifying and it's hurtful, and so we back off. So in that moment is to take a breath. The minute you feel that something has hit you in a way that feels ugly or nasty or mean-spirited, right in that moment, try to take a breath and go, hey, whatever you just said, that didn't sit right with me. That did not feel good. If it was your intention to do harm, you just did. That's a shocker for people, is to hear that I see you and I see that what you just did was hurtful to me and I'm calling you out on it. How do you guys feel about that? Gina says, I'm too thin and heard that a lot. Yeah, thank you, Gina. We're not alone, the Ginas of the world. Oh gosh, you look so tired. Helen said, yeah, don't you hate that? They go, you look so tired. It's their way of saying you look old, and they don't want to say that, right? So they think that's the more polite way. I wish I was thin, Elisa says. Listen, girl, love your body exactly the way it is. That is your temple. That's what God has for you. And that's your safe place and that's your sacred place. And all I say to people is everything else is diet and exercise. But other than that, if you're healthy and you're happy and you eat what you want and you're a medium, plump size, big size person, then God love you, okay? If you're having heart trouble and heart failure and you're uncomfortable and you don't breathe well and you're getting joint pain, then you need to take a look at the place where you've allowed that weight to take over your life. And I can do a whole live about that, and I think I just might next week, because this is a very common problem, right? So for the moment, I'll backtrack. That was just for Elisa. I love myself first. Good, George. George loves himself first. She's sober and happy, and that's all that matters. And that's right. That's all that matters. So bad people treating you badly, talking to you badly, they need to go bye-bye. They need to step off. And you start by confronting. I don't care if it's a family affair. You say, that rubbed me the wrong way. That did not feel good. If your intention was to do harm, you just did. Or if your intention was to be mean-spirited, that felt mean-spirited. And if it wasn't, I'd like to hear different from you. And then give the person to say the opportunity like, oh my God, that just came out of my mouth. I didn't mean it like that. I'm so sorry I hurt your feelings. Great. Then that's a relationship you can still work with. But if you throw out to somebody, you hurt me, that was painful, that was rude, that was mean-spirited, that makes me feel bad, and they just go, oh, well, that's not what I meant. That's not what I said. That's what you heard. And you should just get over it. It's not a big deal. Oh, I didn't mean anything by it. That was just a joke. I love when you confront, especially family, loves to do this one and say, I didn't mean anything by it. I was just kidding. Now, show a thumbs up. How many times? And the energy vampires. Amen, Gina. Those are all energy vampires. I love that analogy. Thumbs up if you've ever had that, right? The energy vampires with Gina, you know, and people just dismissing you saying, I was just kidding. Donna, I live here and I'm very happy and I love me. Good job, Donna. Well, we love you too, and I'm glad that you have that peace with yourself, because that's what we all need to get to. Yes, people that just make fun and go, oh, I was just kidding, and they say the rudest thing and it catches you off guard. From now on, go, you know what? I don't get your sense of humor. It wasn't funny. I'm sorry, it wasn't funny. I don't want to joke about that. I don't think making fun of my physical appearance, my weight, my limitations, my addiction, my depression, my mental illness, the loss of my child, the loss of my spouse, I don't think any of that is funny. So you say it. Be bold. Bye, bad feelings, and try not to hurt anybody in a relationship. This is the key to leaving bad relationships, is starting by using your voice. Second, confront it. Say it out loud. Don't be afraid. Be bold, because those people are hurting you anyways. So you staying silent changes nothing. It keeps you in the pain. Now you're in the pain all alone. To me, it's like identify it and put it right out there. And if that's a decent person, then they will work towards repairing that relationship with you. But if they are not a worthy person to be in your close-knit circle, then they will step off. They will say something even more cruel or more mean-spirited, or they'll just dismiss you, and that's your cue. Someone who dismisses my heart, who dismisses how I feel, who dismisses me when I'm trying to build a bridge, when I'm trying to directly confront a situation that's painful, that person is not well. That person is mean-spirited. That person is jealous. That person is resentful. That person is lost. So any of those scenarios is not for you to fix. It's for them to fix. But don't let other people make you their punching bag. Don't let other people take out their misery on you. Don't let other people take out their past mistakes. You know, sometimes some of us have been very wrong and have done some really awful things. But if you're on the mend and you're healing and you're stepping in that right path and you're working so hard to be a person who's kind, loving, compassionate, tolerant, and present and available and trustworthy, then don't let somebody take that away from you by continuing to punch you in the gut emotionally with their idea of who you were. Because it's not who you are. And I said that earlier, and I'm going to keep saying that in the live. So I'm going to check in with a couple of comments here, you guys. Thank you so much. We're doing so good. You're hanging in there with me. I'm trying to stay more focused on the topic. That was a request from a couple of fans, and they want to hear more sometimes. And sometimes I get very excited and engage with the comments with you, and I go a little sideways on my little bunny trail, but that's who I am, and I'm all right with that. So George and Fareed's sharing, I need prayers. I'm in the hospital detoxing now. Oh my God, you guys, did you see Nellie? Please send Nellie some love and prayers. So Nellie's detoxing. I love that you are being so bold about it, Nellie, and she wants to get back on the right path. She had a slip. She's right where she needs to be. Send her love, send her prayers, and tell her that she deserves to be seen and to be heard and to be cherished by all of us. And Elisa says, good for you, and she's sending love, light, and prayer. Best to you, Nellie. Good. Everybody's seeing this. Thank you. Give her encouragement. That takes a lot. Words. I have a lot of words, Donna. I don't know if you like them or you were saying give words. I don't know. Thank you. I'm glad it's very helpful to you. So, did we get something? Do we understand? We can confront anybody in any situation at any time. It does not make you a bad person or a mean person to confront and speak your truth. It makes you an honest person. And if you are being honest with yourself and with others, you will have healthier relationships. So please know that. Please send prayers and love to Nellie, who's struggling in that area, you know, and wanting to get right back on the path of recovery and wellness and sobriety. And I'm glad that you like my words. Thank you, Donna. And also, for those of you who are struggling, Kat, who's struggling in that relationship with an ex who's brainwashing her child against her, saying mean-spirited things, send her love and send her prayers. And also know this, that someone else's immaturity is not your problem to fix. Someone else's insecurity is not your problem to fix. Stay solid in who you are. Remind your beautiful, precious daughter that you love her, that you're here for her, that you're sorry that her dad shared those words with her and those ideas about who you are, because that's not really who you are. That's just how he sees you. And he's still looking at you from a long time ago. He's not looking at the person that you are now. And ask her how she sees you, okay? So that's one way that you can confront that cat. And anyone else, because I had someone else who came on the live and said, oh my God, can you separate even if it's your family? Can you let go of them? Absolutely, 100%, you can. You can. I can do it, you can do it. I see this big bump I'm fixing on the back of my head. Love to Nellie, thank you, and love to Gina, thank you. And I'm glad you're going to be here in July, and I can't wait to see you. That would be amazing to see you. New year, new changes, now is the time. Take Gina's encouragement right there, the other Gina's, and this Gina's encouragement. And George, Gina, felicítame, mi hija se acabó de graduar. Aw, George's daughter just graduated from university, and he wants us all to congratulate her. Fantastic. Very good. Many, many congratulations to you and to your daughter for her incredible work and that journey. That is a tough one. How can you communicate if she doesn't speak to me? Okay, Donna, this will be my final question, and it's a good one. When someone doesn't speak to you, there is the language of written word, and there is the language of love. If it's a person who will show up at family events because you're surrounded by other family members, and they're not speaking to you, always show up in love. Always show up and say, I know you're not speaking to me now. This is something that is heavy on my heart. I want a relationship with you. At any time, if you feel that you can open your heart to let me back in, I'm here. I'm going to keep waiting patiently for that opportunity. And the same thing in written word, write to that person. If you understand how or why your relationship went sour, and there's some amends to be made, then please clean up your side of the street. And my people that are in recovery and in program AA and NA are understanding what I'm saying. That's the language they use. Clean up your side of the street, Donna, and be able to say, I know that I hurt you. I'm going to tell you something that was like blew my mind. Nellie, you're so welcome, girl. I am so here for you. I so see you. I'm so proud of you for just jumping right back on that horse and getting right on that right path. The past is the past, even if it was yesterday, even if it was 24 hours ago. It doesn't live here right now. Hi, Brenda Hopkins. Good to see you. Suit up and show up. That's right. In love. It's my daughter. She's in Georgia, in Mass. I'm in, oh, you're in Massachusetts, she's in Georgia. Okay, sorry, that light, I'm having a hard time reading. Gina was married 22 years and have 3 grown children. My ex and I are best friends now. It took time to get there. It took time, and it's absolutely possible. So lots of love to you, Gina. That is incredible, and that's a sign of maturity and growth as well. And as for Donna, whatever distance is there, if it's only physical distance, you as the mother, it's important to always reach back out to your daughter. Us daughters, especially at this stage of life, I don't know how old she is, but I'm a very mature daughter. I'm actually a middle-aged daughter with my own daughter, you know, and God knows not too far away I'm going to have grandkids. So it is as the mother, it's our responsibility to reach back out to that child. So for my mother to reach back out to me and for me to reach back out to my daughter, and my mother at 84 years old just made an amends to me about a month ago for many, many things that went wrong in our relationship throughout our life. And it was a sincere and genuine amends. And for all the years that I've been hurt, sad, and resentful, it absolutely penetrated my heart. And it did because she did so with great grace and dignity and vulnerability and honesty, and she humbled herself. And that's what we need to do, especially when we're the parent to our children. I hope that helps you, Donna. I hope the rest of you could hear that and take hope and solace in that all of the years of all the difficult relationship at this very late stage of life, my mother was still able to change and do it different. And so for me, I always had hope, and I will always have hope for all of us that we can change and we can do it different, okay? It is great, Helen. It's absolutely incredible. It was a monumental moment for me. I had to pinch myself. I didn't think it was real. So I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed the talk. I got into something about eating disorder and body image. I might talk about that next time because it is an affliction not only for women, it is growing increasingly as an affliction for men. So please send me your comments. I love hearing from you, for you, and from you, and on Messenger. So Nellie is wonderful about keeping me abreast about what's going on in her life and reaching back out when she's struggling and just needs a little Gina boost. And I invite all of you to do the same. I'll always get back to you, even if it takes me a minute, but I just want you to know that I'm there, and that's very important to me. So share the page if you like it, share the videos, point your family out to go, you need to listen to this girl, and keep sharing it, please, so that this will continue to grow. And this is my life's work. So that's all I need to say about it. All right. Please talk about the body thing. Yeah, I really want to. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you. God bless you all. And I will see you. I'm jumping on Wings of Encouragement at 6:45. So in like 10 minutes, if you want to check out that page and continue this topic, that's where I'll be. Good night, everybody. God bless.